Tonight, we will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on.
It is he, it is me, P-double-D of the Place to Be Reviewed, and I'm right here with all of you, even those Orthodox Jews. L'chaim, I am the undisputed Fandom Menace People's Champion, most criminally underrated YouTuber you've never heard of. Even though it ain't Christmas, I'll still deck your halls and beat up those walls right after you're done jingling my what? Mr. Monday Night, Etef Wakuian. Thank you. I am joined this evening by a great panel. To my right, joining me, author Stephen Walton, the Fandom Menace historian. Hail to thee, sir.
Hail, brother. Thank you for having me on again. Another great Monday night. Looking forward to tonight's topics and conversation. Hail to the chat. Thank you for being here. Please share out the link and smash that like button. We appreciate you. We don't have an industry. We have you to support us. I want to say thank you to ETEP for having me on, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with this great panel. I also, at this moment, have a book out. The Fandom Menace Volume 2, Rise of the Rebellion, is now available on Indiegogo. This book covers the events of the year 2018 and the rise of independent creators fighting for our modern mythologies. I'm looking forward to presenting this book. I've got great people involved, contributors for this volume, such as Jesse Milestone of Mindless Entertainment, Stephanie Janicek Smuggler's Cantina, Ichi Baka of Disney Star Wars is Dumb, and Lord Doomcock himself speaking on Star Trek Discovery. So I'm looking forward to presenting this material. Going to have chapters highlighting the Gospel according to Mark with a C, Mecha Random 42. I'm also going to have chapters that go through some of the more infamous characters in the social media landscape connected to Star Wars, such as Bobby Roberts, Brian Young, and a few other people. Going to go over the harassment that that was suffered by the hands of Reylos to Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley, all of the stalking behaviors, the mainstream media covering up for these stalking behaviors. Got a lot of great material from 2018 that I'll be presenting to you. So please, if you are so inclined, go check out this book. Also, the Phantom Menace Volume 1 of Fandom Betrayed. The audio book is now available on audio. It is narrated by Robot Shlomo of Midnight's Edge After Dark. Thank you all, brothers. Hail.
Hail to thee, man. And that link for the Indiegogo is in the description to this video, along with my next guest on the panel. Ladies and gentlemen, hail to the Don of 2 cents toys, Salvador.
Well, that's a hard act to follow. Hello and salutations. It's me, Salvador. I'm here to hang out and get into some kind of spicy topics. I'll be acting as a mediator, moderator, and message to all you kids and cool people watching, don't come to school tomorrow.
I love that. I love that Green Ranger tagger, bro.
That's awesome. That is great. And last but certainly not least, the man in the bottom left square. He is the man who designed my channel logo and Sal's. He is a great friend of the channel. Thank you, Ryan, from Nerdy Blurb TV, for joining us once again on a Monday night.
We are so... Now that I think of it, it's like been a month, man. Like, so happy to be here. I'm excited to get pummeled with stuff I don't know and talk about stuff that I have no opinion on, but we'll probably have one after this, whether it's forced on me or whether I choose it.
Well, like thanks for joining. Yeah. I think that's just being married, isn't it? Like, I don't know that.
Maybe.
Oh hell! So we have. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I spiced up the music a little bit for the intro, guaranteeing myself a copyright claim right from the get go. But what the hell, right? It's all gravy. It's all gravy. So hey, I want to say too, right now at the time we started, I was at 349 subs. Somebody out there make a bot. Give me tree fitty. I'm trying to. Loch Ness Monster needs tree fitty. Need tree fitty. All right, get me that tree fitty.
Subscribe. Go unsubscribe to him now, and then resubscribe.
And that's how I gained one. You did that. He's like,
did that to you,
yeah,
because I wasn't getting your notifications, so I unsubscribed, then resubscribed, and then he got 2 more in the can. So it's just like
I got a +1. I'm like, what the hell? The way YouTube takes likes off my videos, though, like literally, I released my Friday the 13th video. It had 8 likes. I look again 2 minutes later, it has 7. I'm like, wait, what the? I'm like, YouTube. I'm like, I don't get that many views and likes as it is. So thanks, YouTube, you sons of bitches. I would say they're us.
Video, you change somebody's mind. Maybe.
Dude, they're playing games sometimes. I was checking out the Burnett Network to get a link to share out in a chat, and I was unsubscribed. So you guys make sure you're subscribed to your favorite YouTubers. I don't know what's going on. YouTube plays games sometimes.
Absolutely. Hail to the chat. Angelus Draven, the men's room, Warlord Titan, Tiberius Keeley Chow. Who else is in there? Flare X. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. Be sure to opine and ask your questions in there. But right now, let's go into but first I have to eulogize something, because we're putting a segment to bed tonight, and I don't want to offend Nick and his Basmati babe. Of course, I speak of the last standing Samoan, Nick Utam of World Class Bullshitters, because we all know, he's married to Brie Larson. So we have to, we're putting that segment to bed in respect of Nick and Brie's union, which he's like Dave Chappelle to her Oprah on that marriage, and he knows it. So that's no more Brie, no more inside Brie Larson. I got tired of bleaching my clothes and delousing myself. So we're done going inside Brie. So that's out. Let's get into just the headlines. So number 1 today, my former Bat Bay, Ruby Rose spills the beans, no pun intended, on playing Batwoman and her crush on Rosie Huntington Whiteley, who is with Jason Statham. Now, Rose was up close and personal with Whitley on the set of, the Meg they were in together, and she admits to having a crush on kind of both of them. So Jason Statham, I mean, he seems like the kind of guy that could probably pull a girl who's like veering towards the lesbian side. Rose is like, what is she, like gender fluid or whatever? So I mean, Statham could probably work that to his advantage. I mean, if he's into that sort of thing, that is. I mean, if not,
Jay, get that ass. Jay, get it. Come on, man. This is your chance. Spice it up. I mean,
know, man. Rosie Huntington Whiteley and Ruby Rose. I mean, that's like a crackhead and a model. I mean, right?
Look, I think Ruby Rose, I think she's a good looking woman.
She is. I do. I clown, but she's attractive when she doesn't have her hair. I don't know. There's certain things she does with herself where it's like, I can't even say you're attractive right now because I feel borderline medicone. I can't do it. I can't.
Well, she definitely has that "I'll steal your girlfriend" look about her.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, but I mean, I've seen her in Orange Is the New Black, so I've seen the goods. The goods look good.
Yeah.
And I don't mind her acting. I saw her in the Meg. But she's not a bad actress. I just think maybe there's an attitude problem there, because maybe an attitude problem. But then again, when she was doing Batwoman, she was doing her own stunts a lot. I'm not sure if that was her choice or not, but it seemed to have took a lot of wear and tear on her body, and that's why she stepped away. So, I mean, as far as her being a dedicated actor to a film or a series, like, I'm not too sure about. But if I was Jason, tap that ass, bro. What are you doing?
I'm telling you, man.
You're famous. Use it.
What, Brian? You look like you got something to say.
Sexuality with Jason Statham, so it's all good. He's coming from.
I kind of laughed though. You having reviewed every. Oh, well, go ahead.
In the Meg, that's the one about the giant monster in the sea, right?
Yeah, the Megalodon.
Yep. Yeah, they released it.
Right.
I thought it was Jaws.
Not this one.
Oh. I'm behind the times.
She was in that. And then again, I've never seen anything that she's in either. So it's just like, don't really care. But great. Come on over to this side if you want.
Well, I think she goes both ways.
She does. She does.
Maybe Jason could learn a thing or two from how she works over the wife. Who knows? That could be a learning experience.
She does go both ways, because that was wasn't she decried for not being gay enough at one point?
And that was it, because y'all know I reviewed every godforsaken episode of Batwoman.
God bless you, Etep.
Which I'm going to do this season too with Javicia Leslie, because I'm gonna just throw this out there and say I thought Ruby Rose was attractive the first time I saw Javicia Leslie, not even in the bat suit, because that headshot they posted of her made her, and she's a beautiful woman. Javicia Leslie is a fucking new. She's a Nubian goddess, man. That woman is gorgeous.
Yes.
But that mask and the cowl made her look like, I mean, she looked like a linebacker. I was like, just that jaw. I'm like, what? No, this is not the same. It's like the Seinfeld episode. I'm like, she's a Two-Face.
And it makes you wonder, like, are they really underfunded on that set? They couldn't get her own suit. They had to use the old one. And I'm just interested to see how they're going to explain the loss of Kate Kane.
Yeah.
And then bring in Javicia on. That I am interested to find out how they're going to swing that.
Yeah, I sympathize with this actress with the whole mask thing, because I too suffer from wearing a mask at times, and weirdly enough, it covers up the other part of my face. And
you don't wear a chin diaper?
No, I go from like a solid 4 to like a 4.5, so it's a plus for me.
Damn, all right. We got to look at the upside, man.
That's right.
I'm a little worried about the way they're going to portray the next Batwoman too, because it's really stereotypical. Like they're always talking about the woke narrative, and you adding characters and diversifying characters, and then you make a drug dealing assassin who does not care about it. She's killing someone who lives with a plant down by the river. Like, are you
in a van down by the river with her plant? Yeah, I'm a vegan, but I'm also a Coke mule.
Right. I mean, if it's done well, and there is the chance that they could have learned from their past mistakes and they could write a good script and create a good show, there's always that chance. And I hope that happens, because Batwoman, the comic version of Batwoman, was not a bad character. It's a pretty good character. I like Kate Kane.
Yeah, I was going to say that was the thing that I heard from, and I never read the Batwoman comics, but nobody ever had a problem with the comic character, and then the show came along and it was just like, this is cringe, and the show was, I never read the comics, but just watching the show, it was like, oh, this is.
Well, that's because they're going after a target audience that doesn't really support. First off, the target audience they're going for is a small toxic minority, and it's not really a minority that helps to fund these types of shows that cater to them or pander to them. You can introduce the kinds of ideals that people who consider themselves woke. You could do that well-written script, put the story first and introduce those story elements, and it could be done. It's been done in the past with other films. So, like I said, I'm kind of hoping that this season is going to be better. I hope that they do the actress justice. She's a beautiful actress, and I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm interested to see how they're going to spin this with the loss of Kate Kane.
Yep, they left a lot of dangling storylines with her sister Alice,
right?
That was just kind of, and I really liked that character as the season evolved. Rachel Skarsten was one of the bright spots on that show, I think, and she was actually in the original Birds of Prey TV show. Who the hell did she play? Did she play? I can't remember who she played, but she was in the original. Shame
that show failed too. Birds of Prey wasn't half bad.
Great cast, and it had Dina Meyer, who. Anyway, that story was from the News International. Number 2, D'Onofrio, do not tease us about Wilson Fisk in Spider-Man 3 like this. That's from one of my least favorite quote unquote authors, writers from the Mary Sue, Rachel Leishman. She's a glorified blogger. And Vincent D'Onofrio is obviously expressing interest in reprising his Wilson Fisk role in the MCU, which to me, I'm in the middle of watching Daredevil now, and all I have to say is I've never agreed with Rachel Leishman on anything, but take my money. If they're going to do it, thank you, Keely Chow. She was Black Canary. Rachel Skarsten was in the original Birds of Prey in 2002. But what say you? I mean, have we all seen Daredevil?
Hell yes. Oh yeah, I love Daredevil. I liked the third season. Some people gave the third season crap, but I liked it. I think that it was building toward a good fourth season, and the reintroduction of Wilson Fisk. Oh my God, that actor!
D'Onofrio's amazing.
D'Onofrio, yes. It was just. It's a shame what happened to the Netflix cinema or Marvel universe, because there was a lot of things in there that could have been done really well. I love the first season of Jessica Jones. Second season kind of fell off. That first season was great in my opinion. I wanted Iron Fist to be good so bad, but it was so awful. It was so awful.
Good. The second one, I thought it stepped up its game a lot more. Doesn't make it the best, but I really liked the second one.
Dig it, yeah. Well, I mean, the changes at the end, like the way they left it off, I was interested to see how they were going to run with it. You know, how they were going to run with those stories, with the changes in the character.
Everything up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the thing that's happening.
Did they do what, 2 seasons of Iron Fist?
Yeah.
I haven't got to that one yet. Like I said, I'm gonna watch Daredevil. I'm on episode like 2 or 3 of season 2 right now.
Everything except for Daredevil, I believe.
Okay.
I'm still waiting for Daredevil 2 with Ben Affleck.
Daredevil 2 with Ben Affleck. Oh no. Who was they couldn't have Kingpin back in there because Michael Clark Duncan, God rest his soul.
I know.
Is gone.
And there's an example of race swapping a character.
And nobody cared.
Nobody cared. Didn't matter. Didn't make it a big thing. They just threw Michael Duncan in there and he did a great job. I thought I've actually liked that movie. I do understand the flaws in it. Hey, I'm also a Suicide Squad fan. I understand the flaws in certain movies and can still enjoy them. I thought he did a great Kingpin.
Do it with Ving Rhames. That'd be kind of cool.
He could do it.
He could, and see, like you said, that is, I would not complain about that. I'm not gonna bat an eyebrow at that. Honestly, wouldn't even, because the man's such a good actor. You don't even, you honestly, it doesn't make a difference.
Right. Well, when it's tastefully done, like Lawrence Fishburne in Man of Steel, right? Mm-hmm. Didn't matter. Great actor, played the part, played Perry White like I would expect Perry White to be played.
That's like I'm expecting, and the actor's name escapes me. The guy from Westworld is going to be Commissioner Gordon. I think he's going to be great at it because he's a great actor.
Is it Jeff? What's his
name?
Yes. You could say any name, Pete, and I'd be like, yeah, that's probably right.
I am interested in that. The only problem I have the only concern I have with that is that doesn't just change that character; it changes an entire set. I like the actor. Jeffrey Wright, I think his name.
Jeffrey Wright, that's his name. Thank you.
He definitely has the acting chops to pull off a Gordon. But then that changes his lineage. That changes the characters. So that's where my concern lies. But we'll see who they get to play those roles. Perhaps it'll knock it out of the park. We're going back to Netflix Defenders. The one thing that I was really sad about was we weren't going to get a 3rd season of Luke Cage. I loved Luke Cage. I thought that was a great. I thought it was a great show. It had a specific target audience, but it wasn't made just for that target audience. It was made for everybody, and it was easy to enjoy. And the characters were really well done. And the way they left it off with him, basically taking over the gangster role, I feel like we got robbed of so much good. So much good television.
Like, they can't be done with it. Like, Luke Cage was so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's like a lot of movies and TV shows that are deliberately like, this is only for us. You know what I mean? But Luke Cage was never like that. Like, maybe every Tyler Perry movie ever is kind of like that. Mm-hmm. But Luke Cage was like, that's going to have that element, but it's for everyone to kind of like understand where we're coming from. And I love that about Luke Cage, because it wasn't in the face. It was very much educational in the culture and in like it was going to be. It knew that it was going to be groundbreaking, and it was humble about it. It kind of felt that way. It kind of felt like it was humble about it.
It was 70s black cinema in a series. That's the way it was shot. That's the way it was presented. It was an homage to that to black cinema. I thought it was just so
black exploitation kind of stuff.
Not black exploitation. I'm talking about like your old movies that were done, around the 70s by black directors, with black casts. The Mac, for instance. Just something that spoke to a specific audience. It was geared toward the black audience, but it wasn't exclusive to everyone else. Like, you could enjoy it. Anybody that's been lived in a multicultural neighborhood or a mixed neighborhood and had black friends, like, you could understand because of you could understand it from the outside looking in. And if you were a member of the Black community, I'm sure that there were things there that pull on your heartstrings that are like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel, or that's how I felt about that reference. And so Luke Cage, I think, was so well done. And like I said, I think it's a crime that we're going to get robbed of that third season. We should have had it.
Iron Fist and Luke Cage, and I was really hoping for a third season with both of those guys in there, because that was like one of the coolest episodes.
Yes,
in my opinion.
And and Iron Fist was good in that episode, brother. Yep.
Iron Fist, who he should have been.
Yes, agreed. Like they were working towards something. You know, it kind of went off the rails. God, I wanted to like Iron Fist because I was a fan of Game of Thrones and I liked that actor in Game of Thrones. And I had also been watching Daredevil and I liked that, Jessica Jones, and I liked that. So I wanted Iron Fist to be good. I just don't think they took it. I don't mind that they didn't take it, specifically to the lore, because the lore itself is pretty whack. But just a little closer to it would have been nicer. And I think that he should have had more training, more martial arts training.
Exactly. There should have been way more martial arts stuff in season 1, because that would have grabbed so many other people. Yeah. It's almost as if 1 and 2 should have been swapped, because there's way more fighting in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I dug that about season 2, and it should have.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I talk a lot.
No, I do. I sometimes when I'm excited about something, I cut people off. I just want to pop. It's our first time streaming, bro. I'm sorry. It looked like he had somebody. They had somebody there helping him through the moves, the stunt people, whoever it was in season 2. So it did feel more believable. It could have gotten better. Jessica Jones could have gotten better. But I'm going to miss Daredevil. I'm going to miss Luke Cage, and having another Avengers movie, or not Avengers, Defenders movie, because I liked the Defenders movie. Sigourney Weaver is a great bad guy.
You haven't seen any of those shows except for you were watching season.
I'm watching season 2 of Daredevil right now. The only other one I've watched, I've seen like maybe 4 or 5 episodes of The Punisher, and I kind of like
The Punisher.
I just kind of felt, and I love John Bernthal, but I guess everybody's like, the show just gets worse as you go.
No. Don't listen to the haters.
Pretty bad.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't the best it could have been.
I still want to watch it because I already started watching it. So I do. And I know it's like
watching.
Yeah, I'll definitely like that one. The thing that drew me into that show is somebody posted that fight scene of him in the prison, like just, going ape shit and like just annihilating all those other prisoners. And
all right.
What's that?
Daredevil?
I don't know. I don't know. I just was like, because I haven't made it to the part in Daredevil where he comes in yet. So
2 of Daredevil, because he's in prison. That's like the whole thing of season 2 of Daredevil.
All right. Yeah, because I'm like I said, I'm on episode like 2 or 3 of season 2. So
if you're a 90s teenager, you're gonna like Jessica Jones season 1.
Yeah, yep.
You're gonna like it.
I was born in 1980, so yeah, I was a teenager in the 90s, man.
I liked season 1 right up until like the last 10 minutes, and I was like, you just killed off the whole reason I was watching this show.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
It's been out
there
long
with
enough.
you, by the way.
I'm
right
the perfect
there with
setup
you
for season 2, and they just fucking.
Are you talking Jessica Jones?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So good. The whole the season. Good TV.
I liked Kristen Ritter, and not to get too far off topic here, she was in that show. I don't think it was on that long. It was called
Bad?
No, don't try. I only made it through 1 season of Breaking Bad. Don't trust the bee in Apartment 23. I think she was in that show. I thought it was funny. I didn't. There was also I don't know. That's a cutaway on a cutaway. I'm not even going there.
Stuff, and that was one that I remember liking.
Yeah, I hadn't seen her too much.
It's great. Season 1 is good. It drags somewhere in the middle, but then it gets like really freaking good. And then it ends like it ends great. You're like super stoked for season 2, but then season 2 doesn't even freaking touch on anything that it was going to pick up. And whatever. I think it's worth a watch for season 1. Season 2, I think, can go screw itself. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
You
even
can
think
skip
I finished that.
You can
Yeah.
skip season 2 and not miss anything, but yeah.
I hate when shows do that. God,
Yeah.
there's so many shows that just makes you mad. And speaking of things that make you mad, number 3 on the list of just the headlines: Wonder Woman's Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins reunite for Cleopatra movie. And holy shit, is woke Twitter pissed right now at Gal Gadot for taking this role. And the funny thing is, these people are mad, and apparently they don't know history, because Cleopatra was not black. She was Macedonian or Greek. So Gal Gadot has the right color, the right coloring, and they're mad though because she's a Zionist, and they're wishing her death on on Twitter right now, which is very, very tolerant and accepting of them. So yeah,
I'll let everybody else go first because I'll rant about this one.
oh dude,
Yeah, I'll go first because I'll be quick. I wasn't going to see it anyway, so I don't care.
Good.
Emotion.
Tell
I could
it, Tom.
care freaking less.
Oh,
that's on you, bro.
all right. Well, let's see. Okay, Hollywood, you have fostered these people. You have catered to this audience that is nothing but identity politics, and they want to inject it into every damn thing. And they're so woke and so out of touch. They live in alternate history, and they will change your history. They will change modern history to fit their own narrative, because they're out there breaking glass ceilings. They're out there doing things no one else has ever done before, like fight for social justice. And now they're going back into our ancient mythologies. They just was presented a statue in New York with Medusa carrying the head of Perseus because of Me Too. Like, what? Now they're dipping into our ancient mythologies. They don't even understand these mythologies, let alone our modern mythologies. So now they're going to come at Gal Gadot, who's Israeli. She's. Have you guys seen any Egyptians lately? She's Israeli. All right, it's not that far. That whole region of the world, first off, is a wonderful example of an ancient melting pot. So many trades, so many different countries, so many different cultures, so many different wars, so many different religions that have passed through the entire fabric of that area. It just in and of itself, it's a wonderful story to read over the last few thousands of years. Now, in case you didn't know, there were all kinds of pharaohs that ruled Egypt. They were all different shades of colors, and they were all different races and cultures because of all the wars and the fucking and the immigration and everything that's happened in that part of the world over thousands of years. But the last pharaoh, the last queen of Egypt, who was a child of incest, by the way, that was still a thing back then. The royal families, it was okay in Egypt, it was okay in Greece, and they were doing it there. And so
Still
she
okay
was
in West
there.
Virginia.
She was very, very. I don't even like to use the word white. She was Greek. She was a Macedonian, because you know what? Somebody from Greek is not the same as somebody from Yugoslavia. White people come in varieties, believe it or not. And so she was a Macedonian. Yes, having someone like Gal Gadot, who has a skin tone that's relative to not only the Egyptians that live there now, who are vastly different from the Egyptians that lived there at the time, is perfectly plausible. Perfectly plausible. The only reason that these people are upset is because of the woke narrative, and the woke narrative states that it is feelings over facts, and that everyone, because Egypt is located where it is, and because the entire history of Egypt has been black, and it hasn't. It has. That's not to say there hasn't been black pharaohs and black dynasties and kingdoms. They did exist, as well as Persian and Macedonian and a few others. This is Egypt, to me, is one of those time periods that we should all collectively, those of us from North Africa, Eurasia, Asia, even and Europe, we should be able to look at that. I mean, that whole area, not just the country of Egypt, because the boundaries change, but that whole area of the Middle East, and look at that as a lesson of how we can interact, how we are more similar than we are different. Take lessons both negative and positive from that area, from that time period. It doesn't need to be politicized. That could actually be a unifier for us. And as far as looking back at our histories and the do's and the don'ts and the consequences of those things. So people jumping in ignorantly, uneducatedly, or even worse, being educated and facilitating a false narrative that, oh my God, this person should be black, when the Queen Cleopatra was white. I have no issue whatsoever if you want to create anything from any other time period concerning any other pharaoh. Pick a few black ones, because they had they were wonderful achievements that happened under Nubian pharaohs. Please, I would love to watch things like that. I love ancient Egyptian culture, but please, Educate yourself. Take 5 minutes. You can go to Wikipedia, and that's not even one of the most trusted sites on the damn internet. You can go there, and the first line will tell you that she's Macedonian. It's people putting identity politics before creativity, before thought, before history, before fact, before anything. And these people, this toxic minority of loud assholes on Twitter and on other social medias are only concerned with causing division and hate. They want to divide us. So Hollywood, please stop pandering to these jerks, because now they don't care. They will eat their own, and now they're going to come after you if you don't pander to them continuously. Don't fall for it. I look forward to seeing Gal Gadot, Patty Jenkins, Cleopatra. I enjoy that story. I enjoy that time period. I hear it's going to be female-centric, and rightly so. You can say a lot of things about Cleopatra. She was a manipulator. She was a murderer. She also used her power and influence to do some pretty hideous things, but also to retain power. It is also a great time for the Middle East. As far as history goes, the Roman lake, which eventually Egypt became the breadbasket of Rome after Cleopatra's reign. And I look forward to seeing this story from a female point of view. I don't care. That's where I stand on it. And I'm done ranting. Thank you.
That's really freaking interesting too, because like from what I remember in history, that is not a heroic tale. It's almost looking into a villain. Like Cleopatra is bad. So it's just like, why are people getting so mad? Like, don't you first off understand the history, and second off, like wouldn't you want somebody who appears white to be the bad guy? You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's why people are mad, is that I feel like a lot of people think that she's just white, but she's so not white. Like she's very much not white. I'm very much white, but like it's crazy to see how people judge with their eyes first rather than judge with their education, which they don't have. So they go to the next thing, and that is sight, and it's ridiculous.
It goes to this feeling, and I don't want to speak on behalf of the Black community in any way, shape, or form. Some of the Black people that I have been around that look at ancient history. Now, I realize for American Blacks, a lot of them look back and they see slavery, they see defeat, they see, where I would think you would see progression and wins over the last couple centuries. But regardless, they look at places like Egypt, places that exist in in Africa that are thriving, that were thriving communities at one time, that were innovative, that created so many of these wonderful monoliths that we have. And they want to keep it for themselves. They want to say, that's us. We did that. When I think the story you could take away from that is there were many different cultures from different time periods due to war and immigration and culture, that added to the fabric of that time. I think it shows more how people can coexist. And it wasn't all good. It wasn't all good. It was, but it wasn't all bad. I think it shows how we can coexist and more of our similarities than our differences. And the woke, woke has been around. The word woke's been around forever. And when I was a kid in the 90s, like that was the idea was, we were the Egyptians. Stop appropriating our stuff. I'm like, yeah, you're partly right. Like depending on what dynasty you look at.
Yeah.
That's the difficulty of it. And unfortunately, I feel that people in the media are playing on the fears and insecurities of some, or just that hatred that they have bottled up, and they want somebody to blame for their problems. And so the media, the far left media is pointing and going, here, look at straight white guy. They've done everything. Just blame them. And so instantly you get this reaction, this racist reaction, without any kind of understanding of the historical context of these people in history. That this person should be black just simply because they're from Egypt. It's like, no. Why don't you allow the creator to tell the tale, to tell their version of this story, and let's see where it ends up. At the end of the day, I really believe, considering it's Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins, that they're going to go for a woman empowerment angle. But as Nerdy Blurb said, Cleopatra was kind of effed up. She plotted to assassinate her own brother. They were at a civil war for the kingdom at the time.
Looking stuff up, I'm trying to figure out why is it because people believe she's white?
They hate Gal Gadot because she's Israeli.
Oh, that's a whole nother thing.
That's what that's and being in that lineage, man. It's ridiculous, but it's funny because, like I said, these are the folks who are talking about everybody's got to be accepting and tolerant. And because she's Israeli and she's a Zionist and all this, not to get too political on it, but that's what it is. And so they're just like, oh, fuck you, you're white, and it's like,
anti-Semitism has been an accepted form of bigotry. It is accepted today. It has been accepted in the past, and it's terrible.
Trust me.
and when I like most of us do, when we try to understand other people's or other cultures, we look into ourselves and our experiences and try and make relations, relatable feelings as to how another group, person, or culture would have felt under circumstances. And so I reach back to my pagan ancestry. I look back at my pagan ancestors and I see how they were treated, how it's even to this day, to joke about, that paganism, witches, whatever, that's an acceptable bigotry. You're allowed to joke about that. Ha ha ha. But the minority of people in this country that are Jewish have had to deal with an overbearing anti-Semitism that is approved depending upon who it's from. If you're, let's just say, a Black Power type of person, you're allowed to be as anti-Semitic as you want. And the media won't touch it, won't call you out on it. You're allowed to hate those Jews. And I think that's just awful. It's another reason why I had Jessie Milestone of Mindless Entertainment, a Jewish woman in our community, write a chapter on that specifically, the anti-Semitism that entertainment does nothing about and promotes.
It's been in comedy. And so, I mean, ever since I was a kid, and it's like we're Jews of the Russian variety, but I was raised Catholic. It's a very fucked up situation. So as if I don't have enough self-guilt and loathing as it is, just pile Catholicism onto that too. And it's like, hey, they. That's why I drink. Anyway, but no, man, it is absolutely that Hollywood just they let it go and they just like whatever. And like I said, you have and you talk about female empowerment, and you have Gal Gadot, who is a very, she was in the Israeli military. She's a very
she should be idolized for that.
That's a strong woman. That's what you want. That's what you preach about. That's what you say that we're afraid of. And we're the ones defending women like her, defending women like Gina Carano, when they don't need us to defend them. I mean, Jesus Christ, Gina Carano's went toe to toe with every fake profile on Twitter, I think, in the last couple months, and still fucking not bent the knee to these weirdos. So, hail to the queen of the fandom menace and Gina Carano.
Tom Connors said that he would pay money to see Gina and Gal wrestle for top spot.
I think Gina Carano would annihilate her.
Definitely would annihilate her.
One round. That wouldn't even go a full round. She'd have her in an arm bar so quick. And the thing is, she's a striker too. I mean, I watched her every goddamn MMA fight of hers. I think she fought on the pro level. But but Gail Gadot is the kind of woman that should be, like you said, ideal. That's the idyllic strong female right there. But she doesn't check the right boxes apparently. So it's fair game to just they're wishing death on her. Data Racer, God bless Data Racer. He does the Lord's work in the trenches of mining all these tweets, and the things that have been said to her are, I mean, I guess I could just describe them best as abhorrent. It is just disgusting, the things that people have said to her. And these are the people that lose sight of the fact that they're, as Gary from Nerdrotic says, adult pretenders. They're playing a role. They're doing what little kids do, wearing costumes at home for free, for fun, but they get paid millions of dollars for it. So at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter if she's white, black, Asian, whatever. Liz Taylor played fucking Cleopatra.
Yes, but that was a different time.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. So, and Elizabeth Taylor is white as the fucking snow.
Yeah.
She's as white as the fucking snow. Gal Gadot is not. So I mean, and like you said, it's not like Cleopatra was like, wasn't like,
she wasn't
like
so white. You know what I mean?
No, but she didn't look like she was from Senegal either. I mean, you know what I mean? She wasn't like that dark. She was
probably olive skin.
Olive skin. She's Greek. That's like that's the skin. I guess that would be like the what mainstream, like Greek complexion would be like that olive tone. So,
yeah, they're the brothers of the white people.
it's either them or the Italians, right? Somebody's got to wear that hat. But no, man. So yeah, that was just the hate she got was just like, I mean, and I've seen people hate on her a lot as it is, but then for this, I was like, oh, she's just gonna get crucified over that. No pun intended.
The Impression Olympics, except she didn't have enough check boxes, like you said. She only had woman and Jewish, and unfortunately, Jewish is a negative one on the score, so she's perfectly acceptable to attack.
Yep. Number 4 on the list, Supergirl fans petitioning to save the show from cancellation. This, an article from our friends at We Got This Covered. Oh wait, Leo Red has a good point. Lizzo should play Cleopatra.
I did have one more thing to say.
What up, Sal? Go ahead, bro.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Epic, bro.
What up, Brian? What is it? Oh, so yeah, Supergirl being petitioned by fans to save this from cancellation. We all know how well these petitions go. They're more or less it's pissing in the wind, and especially when it comes to Supergirl, which has been hemorrhaging A, viewers, and B, money for at least 5 out of its 7 seasons. So I mean, the show was on CBS when it first started, and they were like, after one season, they were like, no, go ahead, get this shit away. So I mean, it's hilarious to see, you know. And then they're like, well, she's not gone. They're gonna shoehorn her into the new Clark Kent, the Superman and Lois show or whatever they're doing. So they're gonna shove her into that. Which, I mean, I don't mind Melissa Benoist as Supergirl. It was just the show and the writing were so cringy and fucking bad.
I would make so many babies with Melissa. I'm sorry, I was thinking out loud.
I'm not going to disagree with you on that. Her leaked nudes are fire. I'm not going to lie. They are. But no, that show the show was bad. I mean, it's a typical Berlanti show at the CW. I mean, there's really nothing else that needs to be said about it. It's Berlanti.
It could have been great.
It could have.
It could have been great. It could have, and it had sparks of greatness. I watched Supergirl when it started, and I was like, I love the Arrowverse around that time period, and I was all up in the Arrowverse, and I was wishing so much to see Supergirl in there. And then when it finally started to happen, I was like, all right, cool, because it's going to get better. It's going to get better. And then I got woke, and I was like, shit. Now, as far as a petition, if there absolutely is a fan base that this show was geared toward, and if that is an active fan base that wants to fight to keep their show on, I say more power to them, whether I agree with them on issues or not. Fandom is fandom.
Mm-hmm. Show, or they just want it on there because it sticks.
Well, they want it there because it's woke, you know. But, yeah, obviously, but I mean, stepping outside of my own box, you know, if you have a group of fans that are trying to keep their show on, you know, we've seen this before, and most times it fails. But if you have that loud group, who knows what kind of interest it can generate, and maybe it'll get more attention for them. I don't think it'll work, but like, I'm not going to hate on it, you know.
No. Look at the Snyder Cut, though. What? I can't hear him.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was me.
I can't hear you, bro.
Try disconnect and reconnect your audio, brother.
Yeah, your mic's cutting out. But no, I go ahead now. He's still kind of
nothing.
There you go. There you go.
Great. What did you hear?
I heard nothing. Nothing.
Oh. Well, I was just saying that I feel like, sure, like if there's like a community of fans who want something, they can get it. And Snyder Cut is a prime example. But I feel like that's like such a bad culture to introduce into a toxic fandom already. Like, okay, great. My heart goes out to Snyder. Really, like for how they treated him, and Joss Whedon really butchered that. It was bad. But why do we need his cut? because we complain about it so much. We sit there, people made petitions, people jumped in and said that this is what we need, this is what you owe us, this is what you owe Snyder, and then we get it. And then right after we got it, right after the rumors became fact, everybody was calling for a David Ayer cut of Suicide Squad. Yeah. And then what happens when we get that? You know, like what then? Like, we're only just gonna see our fandoms just become more and more inclusive rather than exclusive, because what we should be doing is demanding better movies from these studios rather than rehashes of things that already failed. Like, no matter what, we'll walk away from Snyder Cut and say that was better than the original because they knew what they did wrong. It's going to be better, sure, but is it going to be the best that it could have been? No, and it never will be. And it's because we have a huge problem with wanting to get our way within fandoms. And this is the prime example of it. There's a lot of people who are watching this, who are within the community, who were all about that. Like, super, like, I know Fatal J was a big time believer in that kind of stuff. Yep. And me and him butt heads a lot in the DMs and Twitter. I love the man, but him and I do not see eye to eye. And it's mainly because the more we complain about it, the more we're going to get our way, and it only shows that Hollywood thinks that they can get away with this kind of stuff. They didn't get away with it. It sucks, and it's always going to suck. And I'm not cool with that. Just remake the movie, or just redact it from history altogether. Why do you have to remind it to me? Yeah, I can't stand that. And so, like, people, I feel like there's a difference though with Supergirl and this with the Snyder Cut. Like, people saying we don't want the show to go. That's different. And I'm about that. But, like, if you know something is bad, why call for more of it? That's how I feel.
It's like how everyone hated Man of Steel. They didn't like BVS and who made those movies. But we want more.
Right? He also made Sucker Punch.
I never
need him to say more.
Am I the only one here who actually likes BVS and Man of Steel?
I enjoy some of those films. Yeah.
I like them. I bought Man of Steel. I did. I liked it. I like Henry Cavill as Superman, and I didn't mind seeing that darker tone to it. And what was his name that played Zod in that?
Shannon.
Michael Shannon. He was so good as Zod.
Yeah, I will say that's probably the better of the lineup in the DC movie. Except for I'm a huge Shazam fan. I thought that was fun.
Oh, Shazam!
That was a lot of fun.
Shazam was amazing, dude. Shazam and Aquaman, and I'm not a Jeff Johns fan. And where do we get those? Jeff Johns. But it's just, I don't like Johns just because he was kind of one of the ones that wanted to get Snyder out, and they kind of did him and what's his name, John Berg, kind of did him dirty. But yeah, Joss Whedon butchered that movie.
Yeah, but you gotta give John some credit though, because first off, he's like super involved with the comics. Like, he wrote freaking a lot of stuff, and they were great. But, like, also you gotta see what also is working. You can't copy it, which is what they tried to do with Marvel. But the great thing about what Marvel's been doing is that they mix it up all the time with directors. And yet here we are with Snyder, who has been holding down the DC fort for over a decade. And sure, the guy's going to get sloppy, because first off, in my opinion, he's already sloppy. Like, 300 is pretty fun and cool, but I don't really take that really very seriously. Like, it's not very well made. It's fun. It's a fun movie.
The battle sequences are cool.
Yeah, great battle sequences. Yep. But, like, as a filmmaker, I feel like he doesn't, ever since 300, he doesn't really step outside the box. Ever. Like, he sticks to the same stuff all the time. He does the dark tone. Like, you can always tell when it's a Snyder film. And that's fine. You can always tell when it's a Spielberg film too. But do you really want that in a universe? I feel like John's made a good decision by getting him out. I think it was bad the way they did it, but I think that the idea is, like, we want a wider range. And that's what Aquaman, that's what Shazam gave us.
And I think they need both. They can have both. You can have both of those tones, And when the characters come together in the team up, you're going to have this amalgamation of both styles, and it needs to be well written for it to work and seem cohesive and coherent, and for the audience to take to it, because obviously tonally, Shazam is a much different character than Ben Affleck's Batman. So you have to find that middle ground, and that's kind of what I'm hoping they can do with Snyder coming back. And like I said, I heard Ben Affleck was coming back, and I was like, because I love Ben Affleck as Batman. I'm always will be a Michael Keaton guy. I mean, up on top of Mount Olympus of Batman is Adam West. He is Adam West. Always will be up there because he's the
Kevin Conroy. Oh goodness!
I agree with
Kevin Conroy. Hell, brother, hell.
No,
Salvador, bro. You and me, bro. We're right there.
I'm not discounting Conroy because he has put his stamp on that role too.
Yes.
As far as just live action goes, though, West is just because he was the first one.
Right.
That was, and Kevin Conroy got speaking of getting done dirty in the fucking crossover, Crisis last year. One little kick from Ruby Rose, and he's electrocuted, and it's like, you were always supposed to be this world's bat. It's like you're the bat of the future or some shit. I can't remember what the line was, but I'm like, oh, fuck you. Come on. Like, did you just really do that this month? But yeah, so no, but West and then Keaton and then Affleck. And after that is Bale and the rest of the, Kilmer and Clooney.
If my bat don't have nipples, I'm not interested.
I like them all for different reasons.
Yeah,
there are different levels of my liking to them. But yeah, I mean, Michael Keaton, that's my boy, and then Kevin Conroy right after. Okay, I had a list of things I was going to say because I was letting y'all talk because I take up a lot of air, and I apologize for that.
Okay.
So one thing, the dark tone in Man of Steel, didn't like it. I want to see a Batman movie. I'll watch a Batman movie. I like Henry Cavill as Superman. I like him. I just didn't like the script. Now the script of it, so the story of Man of Steel is good. It's not a Superman movie, but it's a good story, and I do enjoy it. And perfect General Zod, perfect guy to play Zod. Now, I believe that Cavill moving forward, if given better scripts, if the tone has changed, and I'm not talking about Superman Returns. I enjoy Superman Returns, but I understand that it was a really well done copy of Christopher Reeve's Superman. It wasn't received well. People don't want that light of a Superman, but I mean, he is, truth and justice. He's that guy, right? He's the exact opposite of Batman, who is dark. Batfleck, great. Love Batfleck. I love some of the aspects of what they're doing. I wanted to start off with my favorite film, Suicide Squad. I love every imperfection in that film, and I think those imperfections added to the tone and what they were presenting. A group of bad guys. You weren't supposed to love these guys. You're supposed to disagree with them on some level. They're not even anti-heroes really. So I did enjoy that film. As far as the Snyder Cut goes, I wanted to let my brother preach because I rarely get on live streams with people who have opposite opinions, and I value differing opinions. I think that the Snyder Cut hashtag is a victory for the fandoms. We have been getting told for years and years and years, due to the culture that has been allowed to infect Hollywood, that the fans, the customers don't matter, that we're not going to give you what you want. We're going to give you what we want. And what we want doesn't honor the legacy and lore that comes before it. We're going to give you our ideological agenda and beat you over the head with it. Been attacked online. We've had articles written at us. The Access Media comes at the fandoms. Now, I was not a hashtag Snyder Cut guy, so I really have no vested interest in it other than to look at the fans who have asked for this and have won a victory on the field. The fans getting what they want. And I hope it's good. It might not be good, but I hope it's good for them and for us, all of us. So that's how I feel about it. I think I'm done.
I do agree with that, though. I do agree with what you say. Like, a victory for the fans is an important thing. It really is. We want to be heard, but I feel like that's more productive in other ways. Like, we want Vincent D'Onofrio within the Spider-Man universe, within the MCU. Do that. We want to see that. We want to see Tobey Maguire in the MCU. We want to see cool stuff like that. We don't want rehashes of things that have already failed. That's the thing. And Like, and I'm not here pointing fingers, and I'm not telling people how to live their lives, but that is how entitlement like happens. Like, once you give a mouse a cookie, it's gonna want a freaking glass of milk, and then before you know it, it's calling everybody else a racist. So like that's how I feel. Like, sure, it's a victory, but like it's a victory that's going to be bittersweet, because we're going to see this 5 years down the road that every fan is going to feel so entitled that they're going to want to bring back Care Bears and put them in a freaking Ninja Turtle movie, you know, just because that was two of their favorite things and they feel entitled to get it because they got it with the Snyder Cut.
I think we've already been getting that. I think we've already been getting that from people who want their representation and their diversity.
But the problem is that they all suck. They all suck.
Right.
Nothing has been working. Hollywood is just putting out schleck after schleck for years now. Nothing is original, and anything that is original or is actually good when it comes to a sequel or a reboot never makes the money. And it's our freaking fault. Right now, I'm Mormon. I'm trying not to swear so much right now. So it's good. But the thing is that it's our fault that we didn't go and see Blade Runner 2049. And it's one of the greatest movies ever to be made, if not the greatest sequel, period. You know, it's our fault. You haven't seen that? That's exactly the point. That's the point that I'm trying to make.
I'm with you there, nerd, because that's what happened with the Tomb Raider movies. The first one, people didn't like it, but Cradle of Life was way better, but no one went to see it. It's just like Bumblebee we were talking earlier. People got tired of Michael Bay, and Bumblebee I haven't seen it yet, but was amazing, but no one went to see it, even though
nobody wanted to go and see it because it's a rehash.
It came out right a year after Transformers: The Last Night, which I just watched about a month or two ago, and I was like, they got Anthony Hopkins in this? Like, it's fucking Hannibal Lecter.
And I was asking myself, where are the Quintessons? Why ain't we got Quintessons in that movie?
Dude, they set up at the end of that with what's his name? Unicron. But unfortunately Orson Welles has been dead for a while, so we couldn't get his voice. But no. But no, man. You were talking about Ryan about, you know, the it being toxic, kind of caving into the fans and studios giving what they want. It is and it isn't. But the problem is, for everything that it does and everything that it doesn't, it opens up Pandora's box. And once that box is open, and it has been opened with the Snyder Cut, and then we heard it, like I said, people want the air cut of this, and they want this cut of that, and now it's
Lord Miller cut of Solo.
The Lord Miller cut of Solo.
And Ryan might end up being right, but we have to see how. I want to see how this unfolds, because you're right. This is kind of a new thing, and if it plays out well, we'll get more of it. And if it plays out,
don't get me wrong. I'm not an advocate against it. Like, I'm not a boycotter. I'm more of the person who's just like, I fear that we're awakening a sleeping giant. Like, that's how I fear. I'm definitely someone who's like, I really want this to work. I want this to be good, and I want this to spawn off more positive things. But the way that people have been, because like so many people have been like positively toxic about it. Like, you find people who are just like, you owe us this. I'm like, how about you calm down and just like instead of being a freaking keyboard warrior for something positive, how about you be positive about wanting to get it out there? Like, I've met way too many like warriors who have like built a cult around this to make me feel like that is the problem. And I feel like it's only going to get worse. Because what if it really does suck? What if it is like even worse than before? What if it's just a huge like Rise of Skywalker fail? Because that's exactly what that's a perfect example. Because like everybody, like Rise of Skywalker, everybody finally listened to the fans. At least they thought they did. They thought that that's what they wanted, and yet they gave it to us. And what we really wanted was for them to actually be honest with themselves and stick to something, but actually make something good. But they didn't do that. They gave us what they thought that we wanted, and I fear that is exactly what's going to happen with the Snyder Cut. Because even in the Snyder Cut trailer, that was pathetic. It didn't show us it showed us enough different stuff, but like, first off, that's an editor's nightmare. That was like the worst trailer ever edited together. And second off, it was really pretentious in the sense of like, the music that they chose to use it for and everything, they just it was a little bit too glorified, and I feel like it's not setting itself up to win me over right now, and I really want it to.
I'm gonna say I like the music. I like the choice, but I don't.
I think it's a good song, but I don't think it was a good for that.
I see. I thought it fit, but I don't know. We're not even through. We're still on just the headlines. See,
Sorry,
this
I'm
is
done.
No. This is fucking great. This has been a great fucking discussion thus far, man. Like I said, if I thought we were gonna take 5 little headlines and turn them into, you know, a hell of a discussion like this, I wouldn't have planned anything else and just said, fuck it, we'll just throw the ball out and see what happens. But no, that was, see, and this is what I talk about when I say I've got, you know, people like Nerdy Blurb is not Fandom Menace, Stephen Walton, Fandom Menace, me, and we can all sit here and talk and have, productive discussions about things and not beat each other up over it, which is this. That's what I enjoy about this so much.
Brother, what fandom should be. A heated debate about something that we love, and then shake hands at the end because we're all fans.
Absolutely. Well, it's funny, ETEP, you approach. I can't even remember how we first met, but like I remember like super. It really.
Yeah, through Adam, because you were designing his logos, and he was like, "Hey, man," he goes, "For your birthday, I'm gonna have the Nerdy Blurb guy," and we were on his show together one night.
That's right, and I was scared because you invited me over to your show, and I was with you guys, and you said, "Oh, I'm Phantom Menace," and I'm like, "Oh shoot!" Like I am so not about that, but it's cool. It's been so cool to kind of see, because my opinion of the Phantom Menace is 100% toxic. It was like very negative. Stay away from that at all costs, you know? Yeah. And then I met you guys, and I've learned so much that I mean I'm capable of believing that everybody can be their own person, but like when I see that stamped, I stay away from it. And you said that you wanted to talk about Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was a movie that I liked, and I didn't get the hate so much about some of the stuff that you guys are talking about, but you opened up and you said that I would love to hear your opinion, and everybody was so cool. And that's why I appreciate, Steven, like you like having an opposite opinion of mine. Like I don't believe mine is going to be better than yours, and the way that you say things, I don't think you believe yours is better than mine. And that's what I like about coming here. I can say what I want without getting the judgment.
Absolutely, Ryan. I mean, as I write it in the Fandom Menace volumes, we are a collective of individuals. And at the end of the day, we're really fighting for our right to have an opinion without being harassed. So I think anybody carrying the hashtag that does more than debate, that would be just straight nasty with someone just over a difference of an opinion, is something I don't condone, man. I enjoy hearing different perspectives. And at the end of the day, I want to see the fandoms come together. Like, let's talk about cool stuff that we used to talk about. You know, is Kirk or Picard better? You know, cool stuff. That's where I want to be at. And I don't care if your opinion is different. I actually enjoy differing opinions, man. I've had a great conversation. I love hearing you speak, brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Same.
We can argue about, you know, Spider-Man versus Morbius. I don't know. You know,
I'm looking forward to Morbius.
I am too. We
haven't heard anything about that though.
No.
Is anything happening with that?
No, other than they like pushed it back. I mean, no, we haven't really heard anything. There's like, okay, just think about it. It's October 12th. We would have been talking about Venom for the last 10 days.
Right. Venom
was supposed to come out October 2nd.
That's what I thought.
I was just watching Venom 1 before we came on the air, and everybody hates on it, but I love that movie. I think that was fucking I thought it was badass, man. It wasn't was it comic accurate? No. Was it a cool ass movie? Was Tom Hardy bad as hell as Eddie Brock? Yes, he was. He was way better than Topher.
That was a fun film. You're right. It had nothing to do.
It was
almost
fun.
But it was fun.
It was.
And it was well written. I mean, there were some things. It was definitely a comic book movie-ish. You know what I mean? Like there were parts of it that could have been done a little better, but overall, had a great time. Loved the character. Loved the interaction between him and the symbiote. You know,
I think it did a really good job at explaining who the character is, like showing us who Eddie Brock is, who Venom is, and who they are together. And that is something that I didn't ever think that I'd ever see in a movie. Did I love the movie? No, but I think it did a really good job in doing that.
The scene where he goes across the hall to the guitar player.
Oh, I love that.
so funny.
It is. It's hilarious, man. Because because the guy always has his music on too loud. He walks over, one just freaks. There's that face. He's like, okay, yeah. That first fight scene in the apartment where he dusts all of Drake's guys off. I mean that choreography was fucking great. That
was actually really freaking cool.
The CGI was pretty good too, I thought.
Oh, the CGI was like on point in that movie.
Yeah.
That was one thing. Like, and like I said, I'm not a hardcore, like I didn't follow the comics as much. I have a few of them here, but I didn't, I wasn't a hardcore like comic fan of Venoms and everything. I'm kind of getting into it now as, the movies and stuff come out. I'm going back and reading things. Like I read a lot of the Maximum Carnage stuff. Which I am, I'm fingers crossed when Venom 2 comes out, Let There Be Carnage, that it succeeds and exceeds our expectations, because I want that Maximum Carnage. That is the payoff to this. And I want that so bad. And they've already cast Shriek. So we've got Shriek, and so that kind of sets up Cassidy's origin story from the book. So
right. And what could they do? As soon as Marvel got Spider-Man, Sony still had ownership over all the bad guys.
Yep.
We're not going to get the Sinister Six, unless Sony and Marvel work together, which thankfully they have made an agreement. They are going to work together. So
I think.
Go ahead, brother.
I'm sorry. I think Sony will surprise you. I think they've got some things up their sleeve that is going to flip the script on us, because I think if I were in Sony's position, I would focus on some new characters to be the heroes, but everybody loves Venom. He's an anti-hero. I could see Sony doing some, and they have Morbius, who's also an anti-hero. Right. I could see them doing some sort of Suicide Squad with more sympathetic anti-heroes to take on Carnage. So then, I wonder if they go into a Sinister Six of their own, and the anti-heroes, Venom or Morbius or the Vulture even, I wonder if they team up with all of them to kind of take on the IP, the intellectual properties that they have over there. I feel like Sony's gearing up to do a lot of stuff, and I'm excited for it, but they've been very, very quiet.
They have.
See, to lend credence to what you're saying, there's one thing that Sony has that Disney doesn't. They have something to lose. Because if it doesn't work, then they're going to be left with no choice but to sell everything back to Disney. So they have to make it work. So they actually have a horse in the race.
Yeah,
that is so true.
That is true. I want that. I want that Black Cat movie. Damn it! I've been waiting for Felicia Hardy for so damn long. They were supposed to do Silver and Black a while ago. I got that Black Cat Strikes run, that Gamerverse, the Spider-Man comics, and there was a lot of people shit on the new. I thought that one and some of the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man books I got were really good, the newer stuff. And that Black Cat Strike series was from April. It started in April of this year, I think, March or April. And I was ordering them from a comic book shop that was it was about 40 miles from me. They've been open for 10 years, just shut down. They fucking shut down. I'm like, come on. Yeah. So I had to go back to reading them online for free. I just actually, that one I showed earlier, the Spider-Man. Let's see here. Let me put this on solo. I have to adjust my light or it'll reflect on the cover too much. But I just picked this one up. This is from 90 or 91. That's kind of transparent, but yeah. So that's I just got that one this past weekend. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I've got a ton. I have probably 20 books I haven't got to read yet, which is killing me. But YouTube is a demanding mistress, man. She's a pushy whore. So number 5 on just the headlines, Adam Sandler wants to make a cinematic universe with all of his characters. This from We Got This Covered. God, please, no, I do not want to see Jack and Jill in another fucking movie. I can't.
I say fuck it and let him. If you've seen what he's been putting out on Netflix for the last 5 years, just go ahead.
I still haven't seen nail in the coffin. I still haven't seen Uncut Gems, and everybody says that one's really good. And I want to. That's one I'm going to watch with the wife because we were talking about that.
I don't know. I think he's going through a midlife crisis, man. I don't think he can pull off Happy Gilmore anymore. I don't think that can happen.
Billy Madison
might have been cool 10 years ago, maybe, but I don't know.
I don't know if it's any good, but I've been getting on Netflix the last couple of days because Haunting of Bly Manor just came out, and that Hubie Halloween or Hubby Halloween, whatever, is like #1 in America. So I guess a lot of people are watching it. I don't know if that's any good, but
I need to
They're
watch it.
starved. They're starved for entertainment, Don. That's what it is. They got petitions for Supergirl. They're starved.
We can't hear you again, Ryan.
if they're starved, I have a YouTube channel they can watch.
Did you mute
Right.
your mic, Ryan?
No.
There, now we
Can you
can
hear me
you
now?
again. We can hear
Oh
you.
my gosh. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about Adam Sandler. I say do it because all of his stuff has been #1 on Netflix ever since they come out. They're #1. They don't stay at #1, but everybody watches them. I don't, but like I do watch some others. Like I don't know. But Uncut Gems is pretty cool. I don't know if he would do something with that. Take a Xanax before you watch that movie for sure. But like all of his other stuff, I'd be down. Like because we got Ridiculous 6, we got, and he's talking about everything, right? So
Yeah.
Ridiculous 6, Hubie Halloween, Bedtime Stories, like all of that. He's saying that he wants in a cinematic universe.
Spanglish, Punch Drunk Love.
English and Punch
What?
Drunk Love. Oh God, no! Oh, I saw Punch Drunk Love. I was like, oh, an Adam Sandler movie. Oh, that was me watching
Oh, yeah,
that.
I was just mad because I'd only ever seen him in comedies up to that point.
Yeah.
And I was just mad watching that movie.
You know we're gonna see.
I was like,
Carl
this is
Weathers.
not funny. I haven't laughed once.
We're gonna see Henry Winkler if he's still running around. We're gonna see Carl Weathers. We're gonna see all kinds of cameos.
Hopefully,
If they do
Henry
that.
Winkler covered in
That'd be
beads from Little Nicky.
Yeah,
I
we
forgot
got
about
to
that
get
one.
Harvey Keitel back as the devil then.
That's right.
But seriously, do that at Adam Sandler cinematic universe. He's got to do the characters from the Hanukkah movie too, the animated Hanukkah movie. he did.
8 Crazy Nights.
8 Crazy Nights. Yep, you got to bring those characters in too.
Dude, that'd be so cool, like a Roger Rabbit situation. I'd be down.
Yes,
I
Dude.
would watch it. I know
I,
it would be bad.
I would too.
Yeah.
I'd be just stoned enough to make that
Oh.
fucking hilarious.
Actually, another one that they'd have to do, which I actually love this movie, is his character from Rain Over Me with Don Cheadle.
Oh, yeah, that's
I
right.
didn't watch that.
It's a good fucking movie.
Okay.
He plays like a autistic.
It's
guy, right?
He's suffering from post-traumatic stress. He lost.
Oh, is that what it is?
He's a former dentist, and he lost his entire family in 9/11. And it's like 10 years after that or something. And Don Cheadle's like his friend in college, and he looks kind of homeless when they run into each other. It's like him trying to basically finally come to terms with it and shit. And it's
I think everybody
what's the
forgot
name
about that movie.
yeah.
What's the name of that?
Rain
Rain Over Me. Well, it's Over Me, O''ER, because it
Yeah, I'm
comes
gonna
from
check
the Who song from Quadriplegia.
I'm writing this down because I need to watch that.
Yeah, I need to watch that.
I remember seeing the previews for that and going, "That looks good," and then I don't know why the hell I never watched it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
I never watched it either, but everybody was really surprised when he did Uncut Gems, and I remember thinking he's done other stuff. I haven't seen that other stuff,
But he's done it.
but he has done it.
It's out there in the ether.
Thanks for reminding me of that. I probably will watch it now too.
Yeah, Mama says that Adam Sandler's so ornery because he got all these characters, no cinematic universe to put him in.
Oh, Keely Chow brings up a good point. You also have him as a vampire from the Hotel Transylvania.
That's right.
Yeah, blah,
Those
blah,
movies
blah.
are so good.
I do. My kid says that all the time. I do not say blah blah blah. I'm like, oh yes, you do. Yes, you do, little shit. You say blah blah blah. Trust me. So let's see. Well, that's been just the headlines, and that was an hour and 13 minutes. So that's
Hell yeah.
that's a new record, I think. So we can
Maybe next time start with the Adam Sandler stuff.
I'm fucking telling you. I'm gonna pull this article up here, and I'm not gonna screen share it, but we're gonna go through a little bit of it. This is from BGR.com. What the hell just happened here? See, this is exactly why I'm not screen. There it is, right there. All right. So we're gonna talk some Marvel now because we talked a little bit of Marvel. We touched on it earlier. As soon as this article loads, this is about. It says massive leaks reveal secrets about new Marvel movies and TV shows. I just want to jump into the meat and potatoes of each thing here. Now we'll start with Doctor Strange, which despite my trepidation moving forward in the MCU, I am still kind of looking forward to Doctor Strange because it's Sam Raimi directing it. And how could you not be excited about something Sam Raimi's doing? Because you're probably going to get a veritable cornucopia of characters in the in the movie because it's a multiverse. So it says easily the most exciting Marvel movie in Phase 4. The Doctor Strange sequel will have Wanda as the villain as Mephisto controls her. This isn't exactly earth-shattering as this matches the previous Strange 2 plot details. Evan Peters reportedly plays Mephisto, while Anne Hathaway and Yana Abdul-Mateen,
she can call herself whatever she wants. I'd make so many babies.
are top choices for Clea and Voodoo, respectively. I don't know who Yana Abdul-Mateen is. I don't know, but so they're Clea and Voodoo. They're rumored to play those. Shang-Chi will go. But what do you guys think about Doctor Strange? Is that something you guys are still into? I'm like I said, I like the character of Doctor Strange. He had to grow on me a little bit. But I enjoyed the first movie. I've watched it probably, I don't know, a handful of times. I like it. I like the character. I think that the whole multiverse thing, I was really looking forward to this being a horror, more of a horror. But then Scott Derrickson, dropped out because I guess Feige wouldn't give him the leeway that he wanted to. But, this is Raimi now. Raimi is, he's no stranger to the horror game. So, I mean, this will probably be, I don't know, but I think it'll be a cool movie.
No, man, like Raimi is like quintessential horror in my opinion. Like when the first thing that grabbed me about D Strange 2 was a horror aspect.
Yes. Because
that is something that we're missing in the MCU. We've got almost everything else. And then right after that, like rumor, we got the New Mutants, and I saw that trailer. I'm like, dude, horror could really exist within within the MCU. And then that movie totally fell flat. And then I heard that Raimi was actually going to be a part of it, and it was going to be a multiverse. That opens up so much. And the one thing that I really want to see, everybody says that they want to see Tobey Maguire and and Andrew Garfield and all of that in a multiverse and everything. I want to see Ash from Evil Dead. That would be so freaking cool to have in a D Strange movie that opens up, because he's going to be, Bruce Campbell's going to be in that movie.
Oh yeah,
somehow. So why not throw him in there in a multiverse as Ash? That would be so freaking cool.
Have him fighting fucking werewolves or something.
I want to see like Doctor Strange talking to Scarlet Witch and being like, "No, don't open that." When she opens up some portal, there's like deadites on the other side of it.
Yes,
some shit.
That would be so cool.
Hail to the king, baby.
That would be the shit, man. I don't see, but Marvel doesn't have. I don't think they have the balls to do it. I really don't. It's like they play it so safe, and it's like I understand the why. You've got a guaranteed return. Most of your movies are making upwards of close to $1 billion. A lot of but it's like at some point, and this is one thing with New Mutants. I was looking forward to a horror aspect with that too. I watched it. I liked the movie. I know it's not great. It's not a popular opinion to say you liked it. I enjoyed it. I didn't think, like everybody's kind of talking about the Maisie Williams and her relationship. I can't remember the other girl's name, but I was just like, I didn't really see it as ham-fisted because they established right from the very beginning of the movie that there was chemistry and there was an attraction there. So I'm like, okay, this isn't a big deal. Whatever, move forward. But the movie wasn't great. If it was set in the universe that was still in existence, it would have made more sense if we could get a sequel to it, because it's set up for one, which we'll never get. So that's the eternal downfall of New
I bet we
Mutants.
get some aspects of it within that universe, though. I bet we hear callbacks to it. I bet we, because we don't really know very much about whatever that organization was in the New Mutants and all of that. I bet we see more of that, and I would like to see that. I just was really disappointed. I don't like it when a movie markets itself to be one thing and then it ends up being another.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have had a problem with it if it ended up being the horror movie that it was marketed as. I probably would have liked it a lot more.
Yeah.
But to go back on what you were saying about Marvel not having the balls for it, I felt like Marvel getting Raimi to do this was the balls. Was the balls.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Because what else does Raimi do other than Spider-Man? He has done nothing except for horror. That's it. Have they been great? No, but they're horror nonetheless. So I feel like there's one. I feel like I know, because even Spider-Man 2 has some horror elements in it that I really, really liked. Actually, I really loved that about Spider-Man 2. But like, I feel like hiring on Sam Raimi within a fandom this big, I feel like Marvel knows what they need to be giving the fans. Because he's kind of like he's almost kind of on the same realm as Joss Whedon as a director within the fandoms.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like hiring him, we should know what to expect, and they should know what we want.
Yeah. I'm hoping they give him some, the creative, freedom and control. I think a director like him, you can't really sign him on and then automatically tie his hands and say, this is what you're doing, and give him this homogenized thing. He's going to be like, do you know how many movies I've made?
Exactly.
Like, really? Like, I can fucking walk off this and be perfectly fine. Like, it's not going to diminish my fucking star if I walk the fuck off, because how many directors has Marvel lost? Almost as many as Star Wars. So, it's I think, like you said, it could be that is you're absolutely right. Now that I think about it, like, that is a balls move to bring in a name like that when they've had mostly directors that are trying to build their reputations up.
They've had safe directors for a long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
Well, they had a working formula for a long time.
Yep.
That's good. That's a better way to put it.
That's the problem with it, though. It's become paint by numbers and just formulaic. And it's like, okay, so we know we're going to get action, quip action, quip action. It's like, I don't mind that, but I want you can do a serious tone and have the jokes not diminish it. That's the problem, is like, they'll set up this serious moment and then they throw a quip in there and it just like totally diminishes what could be a great moment. So I'd like to see him, a little. I'm not saying get rid of the humor, because each franchise has its should be different tonally. Like, I think the humor aspect, I think more Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, that is a team that is built for that. Even to the extent now Thor, even though I'm not a Ragnarok fan, I get why that worked compared to the first two movies. So it's Thor 4 is just, that scares the shit out of me.
Really? Oh man, dude, I'm so stoked for that.
I'm not.
I'm so pumped for that, and I know why you're not. But like, you have not read the Jane Foster comics.
I have not. Okay, not,
bro. Buckle the F up. It's gonna be awesome.
I've heard the stories in the comics are decent. I haven't read them, but that's what I've heard.
They're great. They're great. Out of anything, because like, eventually Thor has to move the torch or pass the hammer down, right? Out of everybody that it could have been, it became Jane Foster. And when that happened, and I was not in the tumult and all of that when it did happen in the comics, I just read them and I was just like, this is cool. Like, it makes sense. And they did it in a very like suave way, to where it's like, because like during that, like, a lot of comic geek stuff was going on, but like I feel like they did it in such a classier way, and it was like something that I could get behind. I feel like Jane Foster could be somebody that could be like a new Wonder Woman within pretty much everything that Captain Marvel really honestly should have been. Yeah. And I look forward to that. But like, I don't know. I feel like Thor 3 was when Ragnarok, when they realized they need to step away from the formulaic ways that they've been doing things, as Steven was saying. Because and I feel like a lot of people would disagree with that, and they would say that Guardians would be that, and that is not the case. A lot of people don't understand that James Gunn didn't have as much creativity involved when it came to that, because that was the first time that they were branching out, and Marvel still had a lot of the reins held on. But when it came to Ragnarok, they're like, let's completely flip the script and like step out of our box. And then that's like, from there on, I think we're going to see that. And I think Sam Raimi is the way to go about taking that next step. and I'm pretty excited about it.
Nice. Yeah, I'm hoping Doctor Strange 2 is good. I like the first one. I don't want to see a bad Marvel movie. I want good Marvel movies.
Right.
You know.
Yes.
And so I hope Thor: Love and Thunder is good. There was a new character that's being added to that film, possibly being talked about. Deadpool being added to that film. Yes.
Really?
Ryan Reynolds. Yep.
The rumor, just look it up on the internet. I read it on my last show. Don't have it with me at the moment. But yeah, they're having talks with Ryan Reynolds, possibly have Deadpool involved in that. I don't know how Deadpool will be involved in the Thor movie, but I mean, from my personal perspective, it would be a good chance to show a little humility by the people maybe making the MCU by allowing a character to break the fourth wall, maybe speak on behalf of fans that are critical of certain things. I think that would be a good opportunity. Who knows if they take it? But I want every Marvel movie to be good. I'm looking forward to Doctor Strange 2. I almost don't want to know anything about it because I want to be wowed when I see it.
Yeah. I'm gonna do my best to avoid like spoilers when it comes to that. I tried for Endgame, and then some asshole in my timeline posted that Tony Stark died, and I blocked him. You son of a bitch! I just added you back. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Look what you did. Let's see. Next, we got Shang-Chi. One of the 4chan leaks posted online this week reveals some of the characters in the film and actors who will play them. We're looking at Ronnie Chieng, Clive Reston, Fala Chen, Lee Ko Wu, Florian Muntinao, Black Jack Tar, Benedict Wong as Wong, Michelle Yeoh as Shang-Chi's mother.
Wait, Wong from D Strange?
Yeah, Benedict
Dude,
Wong.
awesome.
That's him. Yep,
Awesome.
I like him.
Yeah.
He's freaking great.
Yeah.
That guy's great. The Eternal.
Have you seen? I don't remember his name. The guy that played Ned in the Spider-Man movies.
Dude, he
He's lost
got
like 100 pounds or some shit. And he's ripped.
Wow.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, he got. They're rumoring him as Hobgoblin, and because I guess Ned was the Hobgoblin in the comics,
Mhm.
or substitute for the Hobgoblin or something like that.
There's
So
been like
they're-
3 hobgoblins.
What?
Yeah, so they're kind of speculating that that's what it's for. Now it's not
Dude.
confirmed, but that would be cool. As they are.
Can I-
Go ahead.
Sorry, can I go back to Doctor Strange real
Yeah.
quick? I heard a rumor that Doctor Strange's character is going to be in Spider-Man 3.
Yes.
Yes.
Are we going to cover that? I don't know how I feel about that one because I feel like it's going to be because Doctor Strange is always like the guy who knows more than you do, right?
Mhm.
And if he's going to be in Spider-Man 3, it's almost as if we're going to get more of that Tony who's gone. And
Yeah,
I am
right.
not about that. I want Spider-Man to be his own man. Like he should have learned by this point. There's like, I'm my own man now. I don't need Tony Stark. They totally avoided Uncle Ben first
Yeah.
off, which I am actually starting to think that maybe possibly Marvel is not allowed to Jonah Hill versus Ned. Nice.
Damn you, Tony.
I feel like at this point, because they just never mention him, I wonder if Sony has the rights to Uncle Ben's name. I don't know, but I'm not a fan of him always being a mentee, and I feel like he's going to be a mentee to Doctor Strange
Right.
in the next one. And I don't know if I just wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on that.
I'm done with Spider-Boy. I'd like to have Spider-Man now. I think that Peter Parker is much more of an intelligent character than they're giving him credit for. Like, I understand the way they brought it in, and okay, I'm fine with what they've done. Okay, but now it's time. I'd like to see Peter Parker because he's always been on his own. All right, I mean, even when he interacts with the X-Men, they kind of keep him to the side, like you're not a real mutant.
Yes.
You know, he's always on his own, and he fights these incredible nemesis that were created in his universe by himself. Now, he does team up with other characters from time to time, but he's a character that can stand on its own. That is a franchise character, and I'd like to see them treat Spider-Man as that, as such.
I mean, he's the golden boy of Marvel as a company, like the end, like not Iron Man. And I know that he did a lot for him in the movies and everything, but as far as comics for the last couple decades, it has been Spider-Man poster boy for Marvel, like the end.
And I don't mind. Like, some people take issue with a lot of the different variations of Spider-Man. I don't mind them. But can we get Peter Parker to a point where he is Spider-Man? He's been doing this for a few years. He's got some grit. He's got, he's on his road to becoming, in mid-20s into his 30s. And then we can bring in them other characters. I don't care if we bring Miles Morales in. I kind of like Miles Morales. I don't mind Spider-Gwen or any of those characters.
Spider-Verse.
All I do is I hope that they allow the character to marinate, to grow, to mature before they decide to bring in the Spider-Verse. If they do it that way, give respect to Peter Parker's the original Spider-Man, that franchise character, then fans will be much more acceptable to bringing in, characters from other universes and making them a part of the overall MCU. Because I think it can be done. And those characters are well made.
And I feel like they're gearing up for that for sure, because we got all that news about Spider-Man this last month about Jamie Foxx coming in and everything, and maybe possibly that'll be a Spider-Verse situation. But like, I feel at this point in time, nobody is ready to be the lead in that kind of a movie. Like even Miles Morales, if somehow they did some sort of Roger Rabbit situation with him too, like he's still a kid himself. Like he's not going to be a leader. Then we go down the line, like the only person who would be ideal to run the show is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. If they ever did that, if he ever wanted to come back. But like, that's not even what they want. They want Holland to be the face of that, and he hasn't grown into that position yet.
Well, that's the problem, is they treat Peter Parker like he needs to be somebody's ward, and Peter Parker was a freaking genius. He was working with Reed Richards from the goddamn Fantastic Four, who's probably one of the smartest people in the Marvel universe in the comics. I mean, Mr. Fantastic is a genius. Peter Parker's right there on his level.
You should be taking notes with Shuri.
That's the thing is, and then they try to make Shuri out to be. And this is one thing that really, and we're going to talk, I don't know if we'll get to Black Panther too, but them talking about even making her, and I know she was Black Panther in the comics, I know that, but to give that to Leticia Wright, she can't carry that movie. I'll say that.
There was a reason that they did that. It was an emergency situation. Chadwick passed, and I think they did that. And so this was the contingency. And I think when Hell started failing more and more, they just kind of ran with it. I understand the gripe involved in that change, but I think it's made out of necessity, and I'm going to reserve judgment until I see how they perform.
Yeah. I do agree. I feel like what's the other woman's name in Black Panther?
Lupita Nyong'o?
The love interest.
Oh yeah, Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah, I feel like she honestly, when I first saw Black Panther, I really thought that he died in the movie. Like when he gets killed by Killmonger. Yeah. Spoiler alert for anybody. I truly believe, like, oh my gosh, he's dead. And that other girl is going to be the Black Panther, and then she's going to be a female Black Panther in the MCU. I really thought that was going to happen, and I totally would be cool if that is still happening now. I understand that she's somewhat of a villain in the comic books for him in probably some later comics, not so much in the newer comics because of the movie, I would imagine. But like, I feel like she is strong enough to take that role and run.
I'd agree.
Yeah, absolutely. She's one of their spies, so yeah, she's one of their like complete like badasses out there in the field. So yeah, I would be absolutely fine with that. And I feel sorry for her because she's the one that played Maz Kanata. Yeah.
Did she?
Yes, she did. She did the mocap and voice work for Maz Kanata. Let's see. So next on the list is the Eternals. Casting details have leaked for the Eternals, which should have premiered this year. We do have Dan Stevens as Crow.
Oh my God! Who the hell cares?
I know. Harry Styles as Eros. David Strathairn as Zurus. Crow is the villain of the film. A previous leak said the Eternals. Honestly, I was just like, nah. I Angelina Jolie's in it. I'm like,
yeah, that was a name where I was just like, oh, that's gonna be that kind of a movie.
I'm like, why are you bringing Angelina Jolie into the MC? Like, really? Like Angelina Jolie?
I don't know. I don't know, but I did hear that movie is going to introduce the overarching threat within the universe
because it's all cosmic.
It makes sense. So that's probably the only thing I'm excited about when it comes to that.
Yeah, because this whole next phase is supposed to be like all cosmic. Because they talked about the Nick Fury show, which is it's going to be a Sword show, Agents of Sword, which is the post-credit scene with him up on the ship at the end of, was that Spider-Man Far From Funny? Yeah. Yeah.
I have not heard that one, and that is like on the nose.
Oh,
Nice one.
thank you. That movie was just like, I sat there in the theater with my
Gyllenhaal
boy.
did okay.
There were so many things I didn't like about it. I was just like, I'm sitting there the whole time. My boy's like, don't say it. I'm like, I'm just really like,
If MJ was anybody else, like, I know what they did there. No, that's not Mary Jane. It's MJ, whatever. Okay, what? The actress and what she did in the film, I liked her.
yes, I don't mind
Zendaya.
Zendaya.
I love Zendaya.
Yeah,
Unashamedly.
I had somebody correct my pronunciation of that in a comment section because
They can eat my ass.
I've been saying Zendaya, and they're like, it's Zendaya. There's videos on how to pronounce it. I'm like, do you know how long it took me to pronounce Mahershala Ali's name? You shut the fuck up.
That's good.
But I don't mind her. She was actually one of the things I was looking forward to with Dune. And I had a lot more respect for her after I watched The Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
But
No
I thought they were gonna make her into like a spider person in the MCU, honestly. But I don't know if she's gonna stick around or not after this next one.
She's got Dune, she's got Euphoria, she's got other
Yeah,
Yeah, she's kind of hot right now. She's like,
she's always hot.
Mugatu.
Oh wait, we're talking about. Oh my bad.
Mugatu, so hot.
Talking about catching a child support payment.
Be my sugar mama.
Oh, so no, Salma Hayek is her fine ass is in the Eternals, though, and I mean that's always a draw because at 52, she looks better than most 20-year-olds.
Hey, I saw Training Day.
Oh, Training Day.
Yeah.
That's Eva Mendes.
What I still saw that.
I like Eva Mendes too. Shout out to Eva Mendes.
Training Day. Hey, I
was gonna say, like, even if like she looks better than I do. I mean, like a steaming pile of dog shit looks better than I do. But fact remains is that Salma Hayek can still get it, and she's almost 60.
She can get it. She might not be able to have babies, but I will make the attempt. I think that I don't know a damn thing about the Eternals, so I'm just kind of going to sit back and see what happens with that. And if it's great, great. And if it's bad, oh well.
I know most. It wasn't a very like. I never read any of the comics in that one. Apparently, not a lot of people did. It wasn't like a very popular comic. I mean, I'm sure
Let's make a movie out of it.
That's what they did with Guardians, though, and look at that.
Yep. That's what the Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, like the Avengers were the C team. Mm-hmm. The Avengers were always the C team in the comics. Right, it was the X-Men and the fucking Fantastic Four. Those were your team. And then the Thor and Iron Man, even Captain. They were fucking C-list characters. Spidey's always been up here, as far as comics goes. That's it. Mm-hmm. They make Spider-Man to be this inept little boy that needs everybody to look out for him. Whereas he's like the most recognizable superhero in the fucking world, arguably, outside of like him, Superman, and Batman. Probably are your top three. Though that's your Mount Rushmore, and probably the Hulk. I would say
he's the most selling superhero toy IP in the world right now, like ever. Has always been, and I think it says a lot too about the Avengers because in the comic books, he was never a part of the Avengers. Him and Wolverine were always their own thing. And the Avengers always wanted those two guys to be in there, but they're like, oh, well, no, we're not going to, which is really
with them.
Well, yeah, because wasn't it like the first time that he teamed up with them was like they were going after the Hulk or something, and he found out that the Hulk was a real man and didn't want to do it or something. Yeah,
it was kind of like a like not an anti-hero situation, but it was in a way to where he was still the hero in this situation. Like he was the alpha, and that's how it always is. So yeah, I would agree with you. It is a C team kind of situation, but Captain America is like a household name now. Iron Man, household name. These comments,
only the Don Cheadle Captain America.
Captain Planet, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Right.
you know what would be great? I would love to see Deadpool take on that persona in one of his movies to do like some sort of Captain Planet like spin. That would be so funny, dude. Just so that we could say that Captain Planet made somewhat of an appearance in these
Yep.
movies. I don't know. I agree with you. Avengers is like a C-list team, but they're totally A team. Like not
Oh,
only A team,
Yeah.
they're like God team.
Yep.
Like at this
Yeah.
point. So like
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what the Eternals can do, just because Marvel has had a very good track record
Yes.
of making these characters household names.
Yeah.
I don't think the casting hurt either. I mean, Chris Evans is Captain America at the time. You know, Chris Evans wasn't like
He's a no name.
he wasn't a huge star. Robert
He was
Downey,
Johnny Storm. He was Johnny Storm. That was
Yeah,
it.
Johnny Storm,
Yep.
yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. was, coming back. He was making his comeback. He had Tropic Thunder and
Kiss Bang Bang right before
Yeah.
Iron Man.
Yep. He was making his comeback, and then Chris Hemsworth, who was just like, "Oh,
Who's
I'm Chris Hemsworth." It's like, who the fuck
Well,
are you?
Oddly enough, Cabin in the Woods was actually filmed before Thor ever was even made, and they kind of just sat on it, and then they saw how popular Thor was. So they're like, let's get this movie out now to capitalize on it.
I love
I didn't
Cabin in
know
the
that.
Woods.
I didn't
love
know
that
that.
movie.
Neither did I.
I didn't either.
Interesting.
That's
I'd
funny.
make babies. I would
Yeah.
if I could. If I could.
Well, life finds a way.
Oh God, let's see. So, we already talked about Thor. Leaker says the Guardians will only be present in the beginning of the film, which makes sense considering the Asgardians of the galaxy left Earth together. Words are hard. They left Earth together after going into my rat persona. After it's MC such and such on the microphone. Get together after beating Thanos. Christian Bale will be playing Gore the God Butcher. The leak says, with Jeff Goldblum and Peter Dinklage reprising their roles from Thor Ragnarok and Avengers Infinity War, respectively. I love Dinklage in Infinity War.
Yes.
Also interesting is the claim that Ryan Gosling will voice Beta Ray Bill in the film. And
No way.
I've been.
I did not know that. That is interesting.
Mm-hmm. That is that one. Like I said, that
Didn't we do a long time back in the Stone Age? Didn't we do a panel and we were like, who would you want to voice Beta Ray Bill?
I think we did. We did that
I think
last
Jeremy
year.
Irons was the one I picked.
You did. You were
Ooh, I
because
love
Jeremy Irons would be fucking great at that. That man is like such an icon. Well, he's Scar in The Lion King. I mean, he's got an iconic voice.
It kind of fits for a baby face Ryan Gosling to play Beta Ray Bill, because Beta Ray Bill is freaking like
He's ugly. as shit.
he's ugly. That's like his whole thing. Like
Yeah.
his whole thing is that he looks like a villain or looks like somebody who should be a villain, but he's actually worthy enough to pick up the hammer of Thor, So I think it's funny that it is Ryan Gosling. I didn't, however, know that Christian Bale was going to be Gore the God Butcher. I heard that he was going to be I heard that he was supposed to be, what's his name? Adam
Warlock.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But
See-
like that changes everything. Gore the God Butcher is like one of the greatest villains
Mhm.
in that whole Thor lineup. That's like, because that's the God Bomb. That's the Jason Aaron run, which
Dale
is like
could
the
play a
best.
psycho.
Dude, he could be American Psycho all over.
Yeah.
Man. That would be amazing.
They were
is awesome.
they were talking about what is it? Well, Gosling is Beta Ray Bill. No, Bale has been ever since Bale was announced, because originally, like I think it was like Everything Always was talking about him being Beta Ray Bill, and I'm like, but then the I think it was either Mikey Sutton or Daniel RPK or that Richtman guy started talking about him as Gore the God Butcher, and it was like,
Wow.
let's see Bale as a villain again. Rick Moranis is Gore the God Butcher. He ain't got much of a chin left.
Are you
man.
a god? I'm the god killer.
Okay.
Has anybody here read the Jason Aaron Thor God of Thunder run?
Mm-mm.
No.
Dang, dude.
I'll
That
check
could
it out.
mean a lot.
They're online. They're online. I'll check it. I'll start reading
Yeah.
them.
Man, that could mean a lot, because Gore the God Butcher is literally the God Butcher. Like he goes through all of the pantheons and just
He's
kills
Kratos.
out all of exactly.
Okay,
And like
all right.
that could mean a lot because like you went into Eternals, ETAP. You were talking about Eternals, but then you started talking about the cast for Thor. Are you but are you still talking about the Eternals? Like, are these people in the Eternals movie as well?
No, this is Thor.
That because that would be so crazy to see some sort of like at the end of the Eternals movie, we see Christian Bale killing all these eternal gods,
That
and then
would be wicked.
leads right into Thor, where they have to take him out. That would be so awesome.
Well, they're going to
It
try
would
and
make
thread
sense for him to show up in Guardians too, because fucking Star-Lord now is half celestial.
Yep. Yeah.
Dang, that's awesome.
See, this is it. And this is the thing I always, and Sal knows how.
Wait. I just thought of something. And if they really wanted to push it, he could be the big bad for the MCU because Iron Man, all of them are the Earth's gods.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're stronger and better than everybody else.
Mm.
If they had
Snap.
Sixth Sense to rub together, that's what they should do, not Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah.
I like Kang though.
I want to see because I want to see the Fantastic Four, but I want to see it done right. I want to see it done proper.
It's too soon.
Too soon. Because I heard that he's going to be in the Ant-Man movie. That's how they're bringing him out.
Jonathan Majors was cast as him, and that begged the question. And I did the video on, it was one line from an interview. They're not looking to race swap Reed Richards. It was a one-off line from an interview that somebody turned into a rumor and started running with it about race swapping Reed Richards. And John David Washington was asked,
John David.
Yeah, would you play, Reed? Of course I would, I mean,
Yeah, it's a paycheck.
yeah,
Right.
you're going to make a shitload of money. You're probably guaranteed 2 or 3, 4, 5 appearances in MCU movies. You're going to make major bank, and it's going to.
If you do it well, you become an icon.
Yep, absolutely. And what Leo Red says, Adam Warlock should be non-binary. Adam Warlock has been rumored to be one name that I keep hearing with that is Zac Efron, which I wouldn't mind that, dude. If you've ever watched the Ted Bundy movie. That Zac Efron played it. He's
I lived it.
How are they going to introduce Adam Warlock post Infinity War? Like, how are they going to work?
It was
Well, he's
supposed to be
already in
Guardians.
Yeah, he's already introduced.
He was technically introduced in the first Guardians because there was the Yellow Cocoon in the Collector's Collection, which they said was Adam Warlock's cocoon, but then they kind of retconned that in Guardians too.
Yeah, because then he's in with those golden aliens, and at the very end
Sovereign.
of that one,
The living
yeah,
Oscars.
the Sovereign. That's right. And then they said we should get this project done, and we're going to call him Adam and everything. Everybody freaked out, but nobody saw who it was.
Yep.
Right.
I'd be down with Efron, dude. Like, he played a very good Ted Bundy. It's just that movie I did not like that movie, but he was amazing in it.
See, I thought it was good, but I mean, I've already seen all the. I'm a huge serial killer buff, so
Right.
But I mean, I'm not a serial killer. I mean, unless you talk about Nutter Butter and Oreo cereal mixed together, that's fucking delicious. Which is probably what I'm headed for after the show, after a trip to the garage, that is. But anyway, I need to stimulate my appetite. Let's see what else we got here. Moving along, Spider-Man 3. Speaking of which,
We covered it.
Yep, we covered that. Captain, no, that's fine. Captain Marvel 2. Captain Marvel is not an MCU Phase 4 film, or it's not confirmed as being part of Phase 4. We know the movie is in the works, and we expect it in theaters in 2022. The title of the film is Captain Marvel: Secret Invasion, which would fit perfectly with the previous rumors that said the film would adapt the Secret Invasion storyline. Jude Law is reportedly coming back. A slew of characters will be in this one as well, including Monica Rambeau, or i.e. the most popular iteration of Captain Marvel, the one that people actually want to see. War Machine, Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, Maria Hill, Nick Fury, and Talos. Commander of the Sword, Abigail Brand, is supposedly going to be introduced in the film, with Keira Knightley and Kate Winslet running for the role.
Oh, Keira.
Yeah, I'd rather see Keira Knightley than Kate Winslet.
Natalie Portman Part 2.
Yep. Hey, I like clones, all right? She was one of Padme's handmaidens, and she actually she forgot she was in the movie, actually. Little piece of trivia. She forgot she was in it, yeah.
She wasn't even on the map.
I know.
That was like one of her first, wasn't it?
Yep. It was a recent article about that. She was talking about forgetting she was in that. I was like, how do you forget you were in the fucking?
Whatever.
No, you didn't. Like you hadn't
I
made
call
any.
BS on that.
Yeah, she hadn't made any of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies yet, so she wasn't anybody. Because that's pretty much. Isn't that pretty much what like springboarded her was the Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yep.
I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then she was in Pride and Prejudice. She was in Domino, which is freaking awesome.
It is a good movie. You're right.
Domino.
I loved that movie. I love Tony Scott movies. But like after that, like she was probably in, I think, Bend It Like Beckham. I think that was it before Pirates. And
I
then
forgot about that one.
I think that's what got her Pirates. Because I think that's a Disney movie. I don't know.
I think it is.
You know what? Hiring in Keira Knightley, my future ex-wife, that would make me a little interested. Other than that, I don't really care.
Let's see. Ant-Man. Go ahead.
I do want to say something about Captain Marvel, though.
Yeah.
So I was like super hyped on Captain Marvel when it was coming out because I thought it was going to be the Secret Invasion storyline, and I felt like because we had the Skrulls there.
Yep.
And I thought, dude, this is going to be awesome because we're going to find out if anybody knows that storyline. Some of the Avengers have been a Skrull the whole time, and I thought that's what we were going to see, but they didn't have the balls to do it in the movie. The only thing that they had the balls to do was to make Coulson a Skrull, but only because like he jumped in the car before he did, and that's it. And this is what I got to say: if they do not have the balls to like do something like that and be like, hey, Hawkeye was a Skrull the whole time, like I don't know, because I feel like that would be really freaking cool.
But what character do you think would work with if they did it?
I don't know, because even in the comic books it was like they were really scared to do it because they teased that it was Tony the whole time in the comic books. But then finally it was just like, oh no, it's not you. It was Elektra, and Elektra was like in the very first issue, and it was nobody. It was like nobody at all. Hank Pym was one of the Skrulls. But I feel like it would be really cool to see people like, what's his name? The general from Hulk.
General Ross.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a cool guy to see, like side characters, but big characters. I don't know, because I would be sad to see Hawkeye be one. But I feel like
Black Widow. What if she was a Skrull?
Oh, and then bring her back.
You just made him excited.
That'd be dope, dude.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying that multiverse, you could bring her. She's hiding in a pocket dimension somewhere. Wanda stashed her away, and they killed the Skrull Black Widow. I don't know.
Dude, that would be dope. Wouldn't make sense, but that'd be dope because why would a Skrull sacrifice
time travel?
I got something else for you.
They got Pym particles.
All right, so keeping with Gore the God Butcher, my brain just went back to that for a second. So he lays waste, right? Kills a bunch of people. And then he's like, hey, these Earth's people were able to fight me off. I'm going to go do something else and come right back. And he goes to hunt down Galactus and gets killed by the Silver Surfer. And then we have Galactus, the next big bad for the MCU.
Oh, dude, I totally think that will be a thing. I totally think
it's going to be.
Has to be.
I think it's going to be a thing, but he won't be the overarching bad guy. I feel like it's going to be something like Secret Wars, but Galactus will bring about something like Secret Wars, where like multiverses are crashing into each other. But like Galactus would be, I feel like a lot of people want to see that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because I feel like
actual Galactus instead of a cloud in space.
Yeah.
Was that the thing in Silver? I didn't see that movie.
Yeah, it was second Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Like,
right.
They're like, Galactus is coming, and it was literally like a cloud floating through space.
Yeah, it was just a big ass cloud, dude.
Like at one point, like he goes in front of a star or the sun or something, and you see like his headdress a little bit in the cloud, but he's just like a black cloud floating through space.
Oh, God, I was so disappointed in that film.
Unless I don't know who owned the Inhuman rights at the time, unless it was supposed to be like the humanoid gas or the Inhumans gas or whatever that turns people into Inhumans. Then that would have been a neat concept for a third movie, but.
It's still better than Fan Four Stick, and That's what matters. It was better than Fan Four Stick because I've never seen a more
like the foot and a half long like fucking log I dropped earlier was better than Fan Four Stick.
a more egregious portrayal of Doctor Doom and his origin story than what we're and fuck Miles Teller, man. I'm sorry, dude. Fuck you, Miles Teller. I know you were in a great movie with J.K. Simmons. You played was it some kind of performance musician or something?
Yeah,
cool.
Very good. Whiplash.
Whiplash, yeah.
That was that movie got another great. Still, you ain't Reed Richards, man. Fuck you. I'd rather see Michael B. Jordan play the Human Torch and Reed Richards than see you play Reed Richards. You son of a bitch.
I never saw that movie. I don't think I will.
Oh,
I don't think I'll ever see that movie.
I got 30 minutes
to the last 10 minutes, and that'll tell you the entire movie.
Oh,
yeah, 30 minutes in, I was just done.
I just watched it. I'm like, oh god. You were talking. Wes said it. The Terrigen Mists.
Terrigen, yeah, that's what it's
Terrigen
called.
Mists from the Inhumans. I was thinking it was Grandpa's internet gas from the New Warrior.
It
was Grandpa's internet gas.
Do you think we'll see that? Because Kamala Khan has been rumored to be in there. You just mentioned her, but like that is how she gets her powers, right? From the Inhuman Mist,
right?
I wonder if we see that in the MCU.
Probably. I mean, they did the Inhumans TV show that I never watched, but apparently just tanked really fucking hard.
Yeah,
it looked very bad.
I don't know Kamala Khan at all, so I'm going to be looking at this character with fresh eyes. I don't want to research it. I just want to see what they're going to give me and then judge it from there.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they'll avoid the Inhumans for a little while just because of the bad taste from the TV show, but also I think since the X-Men also manifest powers, not in an abrupt way like the Terrigen Mists, but I feel like that might be, too many chefs in the kitchen for the MCU right now because they're trying to cash in on that Fox buyout.
Right.
Yeah. Kamala Khan is an interesting character because, like, she's just somebody. She's kind of like a Gwenpool in a way, where she just really likes superheroes, and she wanted to be one, and then she became one, and then she actually took on the persona of Miss Marvel, who used to be Carol Danvers, and until she changed her name. So it's kind of like a mess. So I wouldn't be surprised if they change everything about Kamala Khan.
Do you think the character is like there's a character that's created kind of like through the fans' eyes, kind of like the way the Flash acted in Justice League?
Yes. Because it was a very fan servicey thing to do, to bring in Kamala Khan, even though she's a very awesome fan favorite. She's someone I really like too. Okay. But like for her to take on the persona of Miss Marvel was like more of a nostalgic callback than anything else. And it was something that Comic Gate I feel like did really well, because they wanted another minority female empowered character, and they found that in this. I think she's Pakistani or half Pakistani.
Pakistani Muslim.
Is that what? Okay.
Yeah.
So, which is great. We would totally need that, like for a checkbox or for just like to keep things variety, right? But like they didn't really because the comics are very much about her culture and everything, which totally fits in with what Captain Marvel's trying to do. So I say bring it. But she was more of a fan of Miss Marvel. Mm-hmm. And then she just like, well, she's not a superhero anymore, so I might as well take on her name, So it was kind of weird, but like it worked. I just don't see the MCU going full send like that because I feel like it would confuse a lot of people.
I didn't. Go ahead, Steven.
They've done like a measure of integrating. They haven't stayed completely true to the comics in those movies. So if they were to alter the character to make it fit more into the universe, I mean, as long as you get a good representation of the character from the fans that enjoy her, and something that helps or improves, makes the overall narrative better, I'm down.
I agree.
Absolutely. Let's see what else we got here real quick before we're going to skip over some other stuff. We're going to get right into the meat and potatoes here. We're going to run into a little bit of overtime. But let's so that was let's see. That's basically all we have left is Ant-Man 3. It says just like Captain Marvel 2, the Ant-Man film isn't technically part of Phase 4, but the film is already official already. The leak says that Emma Furman will return as Cassie Lang. Other returning characters include Luis, which is oh god, what's his name? He's fucking hilarious.
Pena.
Yep, Carlos Pena. He
Michael.
played Michael Pena. He played Carlos Pena. He's a baseball player. Michael Pena. He played Mr. Rourke in the new Fantasy Island. Let's see. So Luis and Janet Van Dyne will return, which is Michelle. Was that Michelle Pfeiffer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The best thing, see, this is the best thing about Ant-Man 3, according to this leak, is Reed Richards. That's right. The film sets up the arrival of the Fantastic Four in the MCU. Finally, the leak says Jonathan Majors will be playing Kang, one of the big villains heading to the MCU. Then it just talks about Moon Knight and Miss Marvel a little bit, but Ant-Man 3 setting up the Fantastic Four makes sense with the time travel aspect, because Sal's talked about it before. What if the Fantastic Four were stuck in the quantum realm and, you know, Ant-Man goes back and kind of rescues them and then brings them to the current day or something? I mean, so
I have two things to say about what you just said. Sorry. Did you just say that Moon Knight and Miss Marvel are going to be in Ant-Man 3?
No. Those were two other headlines they had on there.
I'm sorry.
Moon Knight and Miss Marvel are both rumored. Well, Miss Marvel is confirmed to get a Disney Plus show, and I'm not sure if Moon Knight is confirmed yet or not.
Moon Knight is supposed to be part of the what they're calling Marvel Knights, which is like Blade and all the quote like rated R kind of stuff, or the darker, more adult stuff.
They can do the Midnight Suns then with him and like what's it, Ghost Rider?
Mm-hmm. Which makes a lot of sense because he has like 3 personalities living in his head and a whole bunch of other shit. And
I actually think Keanu Reeves could do a great job as him.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see that.
Him or James McAvoy, given his work in Split.
James McAvoy is.
That's a good one. Yeah.
If they recast him as Professor X, as a young Professor X, I wouldn't be mad either. You know, if they used him again, which they reached out to Patrick Stewart and
Ian McKellen
and Hugh Jackman about coming back as Wolverine and Professor X, respectively. So far, I don't think
I've heard that name a lot, but whenever I look up Hugh Jackman, nothing ever comes up.
And the funny thing is, what if Henry Cavill is done with Superman? Henry Cavill could play Wolverine. He's a little bit too tall, but
he's kind of big. He's
Wolverine's
big.
only 5'2".
He is big.
Yeah, Wolverine's tiny. But Jackman's, how tall is Jackman?
6 foot.
Is he 6? He's about 6 foot tall.
So that was one of the primary, like when he was first announced back in 2000, I was only a kid then, but I remember, or I've heard about people said that they complained about the casting.
Yeah.
And since he was so popular, Marvel's gone back and slowly made Wolverine taller over time to accommodate.
Yes, that was a gripe, but after I saw him, I thought he played a great Wolverine.
It's hard to see anybody play that ever again. Like, I can't even think of who would be good to play that, because like there's been a lot of names thrown around. Daniel Radcliffe was thrown in there, and at first I like hated on that big time, but then I was just like, well, who the freak else is going to do it? Like who else can do it? Like the only
Danny
person
DeVito.
Is gosh, oh my gosh. Only person I could think of is Charlie Hunnam, actually. That's about it.
Oh, that's another good one. He was actually supposed to play Christian Grey in the 50 Shades of Grey movie, but turned it down because that was right after he was done with Sons of Anarchy, I believe.
Yeah, and he's done some whoppers ever since, let me tell you.
Has he even been in anything?
The Lost World of Zed is actually pretty good. He's good in that
The Gentleman is awesome. I loved The Gentleman movie.
Yeah, Gentleman's
I haven't seen that.
Is that the Guy Ritchie one, right?
Steven, you got to see that one.
I got to check
Guy
that
Ritchie.
one out. Yeah, I like Guy Ritchie movies.
If you like Snatch by Guy Ritchie,
Oh yeah.
Guy Ritchie
That's one of my
is
favorite
coming
movies.
back. Dude, Guy Ritchie is coming back in full force with The Gentleman.
Snatch
Love
was
Okay.
still, dude. That movie introduced me to Lenny James. I mean,
if height is the only thing we're going off of, Kevin Hart could probably do it.
I would not put it past them. I really wouldn't.
Kevin Hart running around Wolverine. Say it with your chest.
All right, no, stay with me on this. Just very quickly, speaking about like race swapping roles and all that earlier.
Yeah.
One race swap movie I would be perfectly fine with is if they did Twins with Kevin Hart and The Rock.
Yes.
Oh God, yeah.
Dude, why have they not done that already?
Take my money, please.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, dude, Don, that is freaking amazing. I would let's kickstart that.
That is a race swap we can all get behind and encourage.
Yes.
Because those two are okay. So
They're
for everything, they are the Jumanji movies, the new ones. They were freaking hilarious. Like especially The Rock playing, what was it? He was DeVito, and then Hart was Danny Glover. I was like, holy shit, dude, they're playing these old men like perfectly. Like, yeah, that would be great to see twins with Kevin Hart and The Rock.
Dwayne Johnson doing Danny DeVito was so good.
I couldn't. Spencer, just the way he said that, I was like,
I really didn't think I was gonna like that because, like, in the trailer, it was like kind of slapsticky. But like when I watched the movie, I was busting, dude. It was awesome. It was great.
The work that those guys put into imitating those other actors, they put work in, man. You could tell from their mannerisms to how they were speaking, interacting with each other. I was really impressed with that aspect of the film.
I'd get behind that.
That's not bad. Wesley Snipes playing Whistler.
Whistler, yeah.
They did him dirty because he said that he was in like Feige's office like every month trying to get Blade in the MCU, and he was like, yeah, we'll think about it. Mahershala going to do it though.
We got the younger version of you, Wesley Snipes, without the tax problems.
That's right.
He knows how to pay his taxes.
Okay, so I'm coming out with a video for it soon. I watched Blade for the first time, just last week.
Yeah. What did you think of it?
I liked it. I thought it was freaking hilariously great. It was a great movie. But Whistler is the guy in Blade, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
He's the old guy.
Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris Christopherson.
Yeah,
Such a good Whistler.
Yeah, he was really good. Sorry, I just had to double check.
No, did you? So you haven't watched the second one yet?
No, I have not watched
The second one's better than the first.
Yep.
The second one's better than the first?
Second one's really good. The third one, a lot of people hate it. I enjoyed the third one. It wasn't terrible. I thought it was fun.
I consider the third one as Ryan Reynolds' first time as being Deadpool.
Yep.
Yeah,
his character wields dual katanas, wears a lot of red and everything. So
yeah, definitely.
And he's fucking mouthy the whole movie. He talks so Triple H. He talks so much shit to Triple H, and oh my god!
But just
Triple H is in that movie.
Yeah, Triple H is in that movie, bro. Yes,
he's got the little fucking dog.
Yes, that was a good flick. It is. I like the Blade trilogy. I like all of them. Yep. And I wish Snipes had come back because he's a martial artist. So, those moves he was pulling off were legit.
That was him.
Dude, I'm actually 100% convinced that no other actor can play a better comic book character than Wesley Snipes. Like, everybody will say, like, oh, Tony Stark is great. But no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that Wesley Snipes knows how comic book characters are supposed to act, look, and move. And he nailed it in Blade. Like, I was watching it and I was like laughing so hard because it was just like, this is like a quintessential like comic book movie. It was just so awesome. It was very I totally get the hype for it now because me and Fatal J actually we're butting heads about it and everything. And I'm like, well, I guess I don't have an opinion until I see it. And he's like, you better go see the movie and then talk to me. I was like, okay, I'll do whatever you say. But it was awesome. I actually loved it way more than I thought it was than I was going to like it. And to hear the second one's better than the first one. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They're great. The first two were freaking great. The third one is fun. The third one is, and yeah, that was Ryan Reynolds was like, he stole that. He did. He really stole that one. But yeah, it was a good. That is like Steve said, the trilogy is solid. It is a solid trilogy movie.
The second one has Norman Reedus.
And
it has Ron Perlman.
A very young Norman Reedus. Yeah.
Blade 2 is like, you see a great film in Blade, and then you're like, okay, now it's time to up the game. And they did. They really did. You're going to enjoy Blade 2.
Okay, sweet. I'm going to watch it. It's on my Amazon playlist now.
Somebody bought me those DVDs so long ago, and I'm so happy I still have them. I need to get the Blu-rays. All right, so we're gonna jump into this. This was scheduled to be the last topic of the night, which we're on overtime now, so you guys are getting some bonus time out of us. Sal, I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one. This is
okay. This is the spicy meatball of the stream. So it's perfect because we have the Phantom Menace historian and we have Nerdy Blurb, and then we have myself, who's Phantom Menace personally, but my channel is not. And then we've got Pete just hosting. So, I wish I was more eloquent, but I'm not. So Pete and I have talked about in the past, there's something we call kind of the woke dog whistle, which is where all it takes is one person to say, "Oh, this is woke because of X, Y, and Z," and they, someone usually with a larger channel or something has a good point, and they're saying, "Yeah, well, I don't like this whole thing," but then everyone else, kind of the people that listen, or I call them kind of flavor of the week fans who just show up randomly, they hear the dog whistle, and now everything's woke. Everything under the sun is woke. Like they'll hear, I don't know, like Onward, for example, has it's the female cop, and she has like one line of dialogue. It says, "Yeah, me and my girlfriend's kids are driving me crazy," and people just started screaming, "This movie's woke," and it's not woke by a long shot, not even remotely close. So it's like anything that has a hint of like gay or LGBTQ in it, or even like a small race swap or something, is automatically woke.
That's actually something that happened when Finding Dory was coming out. Like, you remember there was like a shot of two women, and one woman had like shorter hair, and everybody freaked out. It was like, they're pushing like lesbian marriage on us.
Yeah.
And I remember watching the movie and like, they're literally in that for 5 seconds, and that's it. Even if they were lesbians, who cares? Like it was 5 seconds.
And one of the other things, it's kind of like the tree analogy. If a tree falls in the woods, all that kind of stuff. We were talking about race swapping, and some people are very adamantly against race swapping. But it's fine. You can be that way. Like if it's like, I wouldn't want Shaft race swapped, for example, because being black is very important to Shaft's character. But if you don't like, a good example is I recently watched Umbrella Academy. I've never read a single issue of Umbrella Academy, and I loved it. I thought the show was great. I thought it was fantastic. But everyone was saying there's going to be spoilers. So if you don't want to hear spoilers about Umbrella Academy, you should have watched it. Sorry. So season 2 takes place, and they said it's woke. It's woke. It's woke. It's woke. Because in season 1, they had race swapped a character from a white female to a black female. So in season 2, they go back in time to like 1960s Dallas, right before the JFK assassination, which was, kind of not at the height, but it was very, near and dear to the civil rights movement.
Right.
So her character gets caught up in it. She's a black female in Texas. And people are saying, "Oh, it's woke because of that." I'm like, no, it makes sense because her character's black in the 60s and in Dallas, Texas.
Take it.
It's not woke. Yep. So it's just
that's our history. Like that's everyone's history.
Right.
Like that's such an interesting thing, like a dog whistle, because I've seen that, and honestly, that's really what I felt like the Phantom Menace has been for the longest time, until I've dived deeper into it and realized that everybody's themselves, And I feel like as soon as one person, like if Jeremy comes out and says, "This is woke," like he makes a thumbnail that says so-and-so, Onward is woke. Right. I feel like the crazy zealots in the community will run with it and completely boycott it and everything. And I feel like that's what you're talking about. But I feel like that's what I've always felt like the Phantom Menace was a dog whistle.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what we were talking about. Like there's these, like, as you've met, not to speak for everybody, but there are, I think a little bit of myself. I think I'm okay. But there are people in the Phantom Menace that are like normal functioning adults that just like entertainment can be entertainment, but don't force things on us. Like you can race swap a character, but don't tell me I have to accept it or I'm a this. Because it's like, well, maybe, I don't want to watch your movie because I have like Eternals, for example. They race swapped and gender swapped a bunch of characters. But I wasn't going to go see it anyway. But I'm an istophobe because I wasn't going to go see it. So it's that dichotomy with being told I'm something because I had no interest in a movie to begin with. But then there are people who have no interest in it because of that, but don't know the source material anyway. So it's kind of, I wouldn't say getting worse, but we're finding that there are some people, because when I first came to the Phantom Menace, I was like, oh, everyone here is really cool. Like, and that's kind of how it started out about, like 3 years ago at this point. It started out as just people like, man, Last Jedi really fucking sucks. Like, it was just that simple. And now it seems like there's more and more people kind of sneaking in and carrying the banner and hiding behind it, but they actually have different motives. And they actually are all the things that we get accused of being, but they're like, no, because they echo the same argument everyone else gives because they know they can hide behind that. So I didn't know if Steve, if you'd seen any of that, and I know Nerdy you have because you said as much just now.
Ooh, I wanted to let everybody else speak first because I was interested in hearing what you guys had to say.
Oh.
All right. The way I write it and the way I look at it, hating for the sake of hate is wrong. Keeping that we should not become so defensive and so desensitized to what we're fighting for that will become what we're fighting against. The Fandom Menace, the hashtag itself is a hashtag carried by individuals. You can go completely against the grain and think that something is wonderful that most of the other people don't like, and you're still Fandom Menace. Fandom Menace is the right to have an opinion. I don't believe in hating something for the sake of hating it. I'm definitely want to keep an open mind. I don't want to become what I'm fighting. So movies that are coming out, if there are things that are being said behind the scenes by the creators that to me says that they are going to be using this entertainment as a platform to espouse rhetoric, division, segregation, racism, sexism, and all that nasty stuff, while at the same time accusing any detractor who calls them out on it as a bigot and a racist and a sexist and a blah, blah, then I know the wokeness has been infected. That there has been an infection. That this entertainment that we're going to get is most likely going to have some kind of message attached to it. The message will be at the forefront, not the creativity, not the characters, not the lore, but the message itself. Now, there are instances where you have creatives that do this, and that is not a part of the film, but it kills momentum for the film. I have definitely seen people, my brothers and sisters, who sometimes carry the hashtag, who say things that I don't agree with. They might be hyperbolic, but it's their right to have that opinion. That doesn't mean that I co-sign because I carry a hashtag and that person carries a hashtag. Doesn't mean I co-sign to everything that they have to say, but I believe in their right to have their opinion without assault, coercion, shame, doxing, being accused of being an istophobe or any of that rhetoric. And I feel that it's the same thing for every one of us in the fandoms. All of us, whether I completely disagree with your perspective on an entertainment, that you have that right to have your opinion. Debate, yes. Heated debate, probably, because that's how geekdoms are. I'm not trying to gatekeep anybody. I don't think that anyone who necessarily has different socio-political beliefs than myself is not a fan of something. They could very much be a fan of something. Fandoms has always been a place where you could come together at the water cooler, you at the comic book shop, and you could talk about your different likes and dislikes of characters, fight over who you love. These things are a part of fandom. There are the type of people that I consider not a fan. And those are people who really just want to come in and tell you what their pronouns are, who want to enforce that upon you and call you a phobe if you don't agree with their lifestyle or their way of living. Those are people that I don't think are really fans. They're just there to get some attention. And the Hollywood and entertainments has been facilitating this really terrible way of living for quite some time. This idea that it's perfectly fine to attack someone because they don't feel the same way about anything as you, political, social, whatnot. I don't want us to become that. I don't want to be that. I want to be able to have a conversation with someone with a different opinion. I've heard differing opinions on this show tonight. Value each and every one of them. I'm glad that I heard them. I'm glad that we were able to engage as fans and talk about things that we love and not come out of this calling each other istophobes or tearing each other apart. That shouldn't be the way it is. There is absolutely a measure of hyperbolic nature in the Fandom Menace, especially the founding channels, because some of them, all of us really, you have shocking thumbnails, shocking topics. You got to get people's attention. That's the gig of YouTube. I think that some of us use that. I've even used that myself. But I try not to be disingenuous with what I'm presenting or my opinions that I'm presenting. There are people you're going to find in any group that are herd animals that will just follow the herd, that will hear something and eat it up and walk and run with it. Absolutely. You're also going to have bad apples in any community. You're going to have people that don't necessarily that share very negative ideas. And I think that because there is no leadership structure in the Fandom Menace. It is a hashtag carried by individuals. And because we haven't said that person's a leader or that person's a leader, because we haven't made that kind of there's no kind of leadership. Although people do have louder voices than others, I think that's really helped that helped us to maintain that we are individuals who just carry a hashtag, who want to see better out of our entertainments, who don't want to see them being used as platforms to espouse division and rhetoric. You got all kinds of different people in the Fandom Menace. You got conservative people, you got liberal people, you got people that don't care. You have all different kinds of opinions internationally from all walks of life. Just guarantee you there's at least one person out there who disagrees with 70% of what the Fandom Menace says, but believes in the message of entertainments for the sake of entertaining, for the sake of escapism. So, yes, I absolutely have seen that, Sal. I absolutely have seen that kind of behavior. I try not to cultivate that type of behavior. And if it becomes something where it's like harassment or, you know what, to be honest with you, if it's something that's just like straight out, oh, this is woke, I'm not going to like this because there's a lesbian couple in there or some shit like that, I will call that out for the stupidity that it is. That's just who, that's where it's at. Creatives, we have to remember that creatives are trying to give us something that is escapist and something that has a new angle to it, some kind of new freshness that they're bringing into this character or this world that they're presenting to us. And we shouldn't be so defensive that we are intolerant to any kind of change. The only, as for myself, like I said earlier, I don't have a problem with race swaps necessarily unless it fundamentally changes not only that character but others, like the race swap of Commissioner Gordon. I'm going to sit back and see how that plays out, but race swapping that character changes an awful lot within that world. So I'm hoping that it can be done delicately and well, and if it does, I will praise it.
Mm-hmm. And that's talking about race swapping, like that's a good example or a good kind of dovetail. Because we talk about race swapping characters, and we've all four of us have said, hey, we're cool with it if it doesn't affect the character and they're a good actor, which is funny. Not funny, but there are a lot of people who say, like, don't race swap any character ever at all.
Right. But
then they'll also in the same breath say, well, I'm fine with any like that as long as the character and the actor is good.
It's defensive, Sal, because there's like that's why I reiterate, don't hate for the sake of hating,
right.
People are very defensive, and that defense comes on different scales. You have people that are just casual viewers who understand that they're being preached to and told that they're bad people because they don't like a certain movie or a certain narrative or what the directors and the producers are saying, and they're offended by it. They've been constantly attacked for years. This is a culture that has existed in media since the time of Gamergate, when journalists just attacked the gamers, labeled the gamers because they had a problem with one of the game developers giving a journalist a blowjob, and the customer said, hey, how are we supposed to believe in journalistic integrity if you've got game developers trading sexual favors for favorable game reviews? And the entire community came together and said, you guys are sexist. No, that's the narrative. No, you're attacking a woman because she's a woman. We've been seeing this type of narrative through Comicsgate into the Fandom Menace, and it's a pushback to it. A lot of people are very sore. Then you have people in the community that are like conservatives, Christian conservatives, and I'm not a part of that group, but people who have certain ingrained values that do not waver. And when you have people who are socially and politically on the opposite end of that dichotomy, preaching and having a lot of power and trying to force certain ideas onto them and their children that go against their cultural fabric or religious beliefs, those people get much more excited, much more pissed about what's going on. So it comes at different levels. It's a scale of levels and a scale of being upset. And it also depends on where you are. Like you said, it's kind of started with The Last Jedi, but it also involves BBC Doctor Who with Jodie Whittaker and how they're portraying the character. It also involves Star Trek and BBC and a lot of other things. That's about, brother. That's why I say we can't hate for the sake of hating. Let's be open to some ideas. If a director comes out with a film and they're not espousing woke rhetoric and they just do something, make a race swap, make a gender swap or something like that, you wait and see what they're presenting. That material could be good. Don't be prejudiced from the jump. Don't be what you are fighting against.
Exactly.
It's like being in a restaurant and you order something and you see it and you haven't eaten it yet and you send it back immediately. It's like you haven't even taken a bite. You don't know if you like it or not. So that was, and to speak a little bit on that, that was the case with, like, say, Elizabeth Banks with Charlie's Angels. Okay.
I was just thinking the same thing.
I loved the 1970s Charlie's Angels show. I loved it. I've watched the damn whole thing in reruns. you know, a couple times. I enjoy the show. It was fun. The movies in the early 2000s were fun. They were beautiful women. They knew what the movie was. They kicked ass. You know, it was fun. It was kind of empowering for them, you know, but they were sexy. You know, it was fun. It was in the vein of the original show. Now here comes Elizabeth Banks in 2019. This is a feminist movie, you know, and you men, it's not for you, it's for women. And then it didn't make any money. It lost like $75 million, $80 million. And it's like, this is men's fault. Men didn't, bitch. I was there. I was there opening night. I was one of 5 motherfucking people in the theater. 5, 4 of which were men. 4 of which were men. The only woman there was an old woman with her husband who probably they were a couple years younger than my parents. So they probably watched the show in the 70s, you know, when it was actually on. And I'm sitting there and I never get on my phone in the theater. I never do. It's something I do not do. From the time the preview started, it's off in my pocket. I was a half hour into the movie. I'm sitting in the very back of the theater. I'm texting Adam. I think I texted. I was like, Jesus Christ, I want to get oh my God. If I had drove 25 minutes to get here and paid my money to get in, I would have left. I'm like, you know, and that's the thing is like, she went on the attack before the movie even came out. So it was like, you're already setting me back in defense mode because you're attacking me saying you're not
right. And it doesn't allow you to appreciate it. You know?
It's like, I was there in 2000 and 2003 in the theaters watching the other ones.
Yeah,
you know,
those are good.
They were
the first one.
The second one with MCG directing was okay, but it was shot like a music video. The whole thing was like the Matrix and slow motion.
But that first one,
that was the 2000s.
It was like a John Woo fucking a prequel. Just doves flying everywhere and people diving in slow motion. But no, it was, those movies were fun, and it's like, so I've never had a problem. This is the thing with me, because I've been accused because of my stance on Captain Marvel and the new Star Wars. Well, you're just a sec, and it's like, I'm a stay-at-home dad who has a wife who makes enough money that works, so I don't have to fucking work. I basically got to retire at 40, okay, or actually 38 a couple of years ago. I'm not afraid of strong women. Trust me. You know, I grew up in a house with 3 women. You know, my dad was always gone working. My mom raised me. You know, my aunt raised me. It was like, I have 2 sisters. It's like, I'm not, you know, and I've always, you know, like the freaking, you know, hello, you seen my show before, Jennifer Thomas, professional wrestler and bodybuilder, and she's going to come out here to Michigan next year and beat the shit out of me for my birthday. I'm like, you know, and that's fine. I'm all right with that. But no, it's like this thing, and encountering, to bring this back to the Phantom Menace and this whole thing, this dichotomy, like we're talking about, this dog whistle. And Sal, you brought up Onward, which was perfect, because that was my first edition of my Is It Woke series I started doing, and he's got a Ray right there.
Damn right, I got a Ray.
I have a Ray action figure too. I don't have Rose Tico, but I have Ray.
I have several Rose Ticos.
Oh,
but no, man, Ray always gets. We have a trebuchet we shoot her out of, but no, I seriously do. I have a little trebuchet. But I don't get this whole. It's like, because I don't like a movie, you know, I'm all of a sudden, and like I said, I've experienced it. There's been people that have been panelists on my show that will never come on here again, and because you said shit that our views were aligned, and then you fucking said shit, and it was like, you're gone. I have no tolerance for misogyny. I have no tolerance for racism or bigotry. I don't have any fucking tolerance or patience for that. And when we're trying to prove that we're not this thing, having people on that are that thing is not conducive to maintaining a professional image.
Yeah,
and,
dig it.
And that's why there's been certain people that have been on, and it's like, you're fucking done. You're out, because I don't want that, because I carry that hashtag, and it's something that I do. I'd like to say I do it quite proudly, because I work hard on my videos and the way I conduct myself not to look like that, even though to some of the people that are detractors, we're always going to be istophobes. That's the nature of the beast. That's the nature of any fandom. You're never going to, win all the hearts and minds. It's impossible. It doesn't happen, right. And that's just me. I come across as crass, and some people may not get my humor at times, but I don't hate Brie Larson as a person because she's a woman. I dislike her because she comes off as aloof, arrogant, and you know that whole and the character is just shite to me. That it's, you know, going back to that, it's like that because I call it my collage of cucks. I have little pictures I've cut out from people in comment sections who have called me a proud boy, a fucking a man baby, a fucking, you know, a bigot, a misogynist, a sexist, because I said I didn't like Captain Marvel. I thought it was a 5 out of 10 movie. It was boring. It was paint by numbers, and Ryan Fleck or Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck had no idea what they were doing. And that's without even critiquing Brie Larson's performance. Oh my God, you fucking sexist. And I'm like, what did I say that was sexist? Now, you know, I have a segment called Inside Brie Larson, and I put that to bed because it's really not relevant now.
Is saying I'd smash Brie Larson misogynist?
No. Women are dirtier than us, man. Who are you kidding? Yeah. Women are dirtier than men. But no, I don't. And like I said, these, you know, I talked about having people on show, and these were people from inside the Fandom Menace. They weren't. You're not talking. I'm not talking people with channels, but I'm talking people who identify as such, and you know, they like to try to carry that banner around and comment. Oh, I'm fan, and then it's like, well, no, what you're doing is counterproductive to what we all want to achieve, you know.
And that's why I love the individuality of the people who carry it, because you can call that out. You know, that doesn't represent you.
Yeah.
Call it.
We're not an organization. We're not a corporate entity.
No.
You know, like you said, it's a group of individuals.
I say to use a word that I learned today, which I'm not entirely sure what it means, so I hope this is correct. I feel like a lot of the people who, like I mentioned earlier, the dog whistle people are what I guess are called parasocials, where they don't really socialize well with people, but they see, oh, this, you know, channel that I like, or this person that I, you know, look up to says X, Y, and Z. So if I hear this dog whistle and I start barking at everything, I'm going to get my virtual head pats from them.
Yep.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that word.
Yeah. That's one that I heard today. So hopefully it's not like detrimental, because I used that word wrong for about 5 years before someone told me what it really meant. So
nobody say Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
I love my Snyder Cut brothers and sisters. I love y'all. Just playing.
Fatal J's gonna come hijack the stream now. Goddamn.
Yeah.
I say bring it, dude. I say bring him on. Awake the beast. I got a lot to say about all that has been said.
Please.
Fantastic.
So, like, the first thing that came to my mind was Elizabeth Banks, because that's what really grinds my gears. Because she comes out and says, like, if you don't, first, this movie's not made for you. Second, if you don't like this movie, then you're a sexist, which, by the way, does not make any sense in anything. Like, for her to say it's not made for you, but then again, if you do see it and don't like it, you're a sexist. That's like stupid. And I feel like that's what I don't like. I really hate that. And that will make me not want to go see a movie, just because I don't want to be a part of your drama. You know, like, I don't want to be a part of that. I was not ever into Charlie's Angels. So great for you, you know, but you did go in that movie knowing that she had said those things. You also have a show that talks about those things in any way, shape, or form. And this is a lawyer thing to say, but did you go to that movie knowing that you were going to hate that movie? Because I feel like that's a dog whistle in itself. And I feel like us as YouTubers, or us within fandoms, will do that. Like, I'm only going to go and see this movie to see how bad it crashes.
Right.
I have done that. That is why I went and saw BVS. That is why I went and saw JLA. You know, like, that's why I went and saw those, because I knew it was going to be so bad. Right. And I don't like that about myself, because I hate wasting my time. I hate wasting
time and money.
Exactly. Time and money. I hate that. When my buddy said, hey, let's go and see the Justice League movie, I was like, dude, no, like, I don't want to go see that, because then that means I need to go and see BVS, which I really don't think looks good, and I hate that, and I don't want to waste my time, and I don't want to waste my time and money. It was a fun time, that I went with my buddy, but I really hate that I saw that because I can't unsee that. But I feel like a lot of us go to those movies to see the train wreck that it is.
Can't unsee it.
You can't, dude. No Snyder Cut is not going to fix that, neither. Dude, here's the thing.
So I'm a Catholic and tag faith with
here's the thing about all of that. Have any of you seen the original Lord of the Rings movies?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Wait. Are we talking about the 2000 or the Rankin Bass?
No, like the Peter Jackson
Okay,
films,
gotcha.
right? You saw them in theaters, right?
Hell yeah, I did.
And then how many times have you seen that original one ever since? Like, because of the extended versions. Like, you're always going to go and see the extended versions, right?
One does not simply sit down to watch the extended versions.
But here's the
all
thing.
day affair, my friend.
Every time, and it has been quite some time since those movies have been out, every time I do watch them, I always think, oh, this is the new part. This is the new thing that's added. And I feel like that's another thing that's going to be the downfall of the Snyder Cut. Everybody's going to be like, oh, here's the new part. Let's enjoy this part. And everybody is going to remember the piece of crap that came out back in the day. So to bring it back full circle, what I'm trying to get at is that why do people go to these movies to go and to know that it's going to be a piece of crap movie? Everybody knew the things that Brie Larson said before Captain Marvel, and that those people still went to go and see that movie, knowing that it is not something that they don't like. It's going to be something that is going to taint their expectations or view of the film. So why indulge in that? And for me, and I'm not calling you out, ETEP.
Well, yeah,
I'm calling you out. But but like in a way, it's just like, did you did you go and see Charlie's Angels knowing that you are going to hate this movie and it's going to give you something to talk about? Because I feel like that's a dog whistle in itself. If we're being completely honest with each other, that can create that kind of culture within that. That's not the only thing I want to say, but that is something I want to talk about right now. I feel like there's a lot of different kind of dog whistling, and could that possibly be one?
All right, so I went and I was covering it for the channel. It basically, the whole thing came about on a bet with Adam. He had to go see Black Christmas 2019, which I was getting there.
I was getting to Black Christmas.
he had to go watch that, and I got to go watch Charlie's Angels, which I got the better end of that deal. Having seen Black Christmas and managing to keep the sharp objects away from myself from gouging my eyes and my soul out while it was playing. No, Charlie's Angels, I was like, I figured it would probably be schlock. All right. Now, Elizabeth Banks as an actress is good. She's a good actress. Yeah. I don't dislike her in anything that I've really seen her in. And, you know, the same thing with, I look at, I didn't know much about or anything about Ella Balinska that played the one girl. She was like the skinny French one. You have Naomi Scott, who's in the Power Rangers, who is an athletic, talented actress. I love the 2017 Power Rangers movie. Mm-hmm. I thought it was really cool. It's set up, and she was good in it as Kimberly. So I'm like, okay, so you've got her, and then you've got the one that looks like Eminem. What's her name? That played the vampire that the sparkly Batman's. Kristen Stewart.
Yep,
Kristen Stewart was in it. Yeah. Eminem.
Wife.
That movie Underwater. She looked like Eminem with that. I was like, she had that short blonde haircut and that tank top. I'm like, is this 8 Mile? What the fuck?
8 miles underwater.
It's 8 Mile under the ocean, but
I love that breathing girl. Oh, go ahead.
But no, so I was like, in Kristen Stewart, I've seen her in like, what was it? The movie with Ryan Reynolds, Adventureland, not bad. Twilight, obviously horrible. So I'm like, it could go either way with her, really, because she's kind of wooden. But you know, so I was like, you know, Patrick Stewart's in it. And I'm like, who knows what they're gonna do with this? You know, it was a bad movie. Was it the worst thing I've ever seen? No, it was bleh, you know. And the marketing, it was like Birds of Prey. The movie itself wasn't as woke as everybody tried to say it was. The marketing leading up to it was. That's the caveat with a lot of these movies is if Ewan McGregor, who I love to death, would have shut his goddamn mouth about, oh, this is gonna fight misogyny and all. You're trying to make up for the fact that you just fucked around on your wife. All right,
Right.
you left your wife for Mary Elizabeth Winstead. That's what you're doing right now. You're virtue signaling. You can sit the fuck down, Obi-Wan. Sit down. I'll get to you later. But that was the caveat. It's marketing. It's Captain Marvel. The movie wasn't really woke. The deleted scene with the bike guy, okay, whatever. I mean, it wasn't that woke. It was the marketing, and that was a lot of it with. I look at with Charlie's Angels was marketing. Elizabeth Banks made people hate that movie before they had a chance to even give it a chance, and it was just her mouth, just yip, 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 yip. And it was like, if you would have just said, hey, we got a great movie coming out. We think people will enjoy
speak for itself.
Yep. Let your art speak. Don't speak for your art, because if people like what you're creating, then all you have to do is sit back and collect the dividends. But you come out and jumped out in front of it and was like, it's girl power, blah, 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 and it's like, oh, it can be girl power and not be woke. That's possible and plausible.
Absolutely.
Is Elizabeth Banks talented enough to pull it off as a writer and director? No. So as an actress, she's solid. I don't, but that was the problem with that movie. It was the marketing leading up to all these. And yeah, I kind of figured, like I said, I thought I might be pleasantly surprised, but I was kind of hoping that it wouldn't be a train wreck. It was a train wreck, but it wasn't as woke as, it had its feminist stuff to it. It did, but at the same time, it was like, it just wasn't that good of a movie. But,
Real quick, if I could just segue off that, I watched Birds of Prey not too long ago for the first time, and two things: if it had been about the Birds of Prey, then I'd have been that would have helped, because it was really about Harley Quinn, and it wasn't as woke as they tried to pitch it to be, and it wasn't a half bad film. It wasn't a great film, but it wasn't a bad film. I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people avoid things if they think it's going to be woke, or they go full in because they know it's going to be. Like, I feel like the culture is that I didn't go and see Charlie's Angels because it just doesn't interest me. Call me a misogynist, call me a sexist, whatever. I just didn't want to go see the movie. Very much like I didn't want to go and see friggin' Pete Davis's new movie on friggin' King of Long Island. I'm sure a lot of people went and saw it, but I didn't. Like, I don't care to. It has nothing to do with that. You guys understand that. But what I'm trying to get at is I feel like a lot of people go out of their way to go and see these movies so that they have their opinion on how woke it really is because of the things that has been said beforehand, or the way that it's marketed, or anything. I feel like Solo is a great movie to bring up in that light. A lot of people boycotted it for a different reason, but a lot of people, one of the writers came out and said, like, we're trying to represent all sexualities here. That's why Lando is a pansexual. And first off, I think that's asinine. Like, who cares? Like, even if, like, you don't have to say it right now, you can say it in the movie and it will speak for itself if you do it in a good way, like if even if Landos is like, hey, like, call me they, like, don't care, just make a good movie, but like, that kind of killed it for me. I didn't see it in the theaters because I actually had a daughter and I just didn't have the time, but I ended up seeing the movie, and I remember thinking, this movie is a lot better than a lot of people who went and saw it and said how woke it was, when the woke part was there, but it wasn't like, it didn't like detach. Like, it didn't, I feel like it didn't ruin the movie. I felt like there were other things that ruined the movie, or at least the franchise. But like, in a woke perspective, when everybody was coming out and saying like how woke this movie is going to be, and then people came back and they went into the movie knowing that those were going to be there, right? So they're looking for it. So if there's any time you're looking for something in a movie, you're gonna find it. Right. And if you just so happen to have a YouTube channel about it, you're going to talk about it on that channel. And that's how I feel like dog whistling happens, is that first they talk about it and they say Brie Larson's like, hey, like, feminist movie, booyah, But when you watch the movie, it's not as feminist as you would think it would be. But you went and saw this movie, you have a channel that talks about this stuff, you have to find the woke stuff, and then you talk about that woke stuff, like gender swapping. A lot of people had a huge problem with the captain who was gender swapped, which, by the way, made total sense to me, because first off, the history of that character is a little shady. There's rape in there in that situation. So it's like, yeah, go ahead and change that. But a lot of people said, look how woke this show is, because they gender swapped a character, and it didn't even ruin the movie. Who cares? So I feel like a lot of people look for that kind of stuff. And just like the Fandom Menace, not the Fandom Collective, which is kind of the same thing, is individual stuff. Every individual shares the same type of, I don't know.
Opinion.
Yeah, exactly. But they may be more partial to one side than another. We all act in that same way because I feel like some people on the other side will go see a movie to see how misogynist it is, and then complain about how misogynist it is. I'm just saying that there's dog whistling on both sides, and we probably should acknowledge them. That was a long way to say that.
No,
I got like two things, or a few things to say. First, I looked it up. This might be a good term for your book, Stephen. Parasocial interaction refers to a kind of psychological relationship experienced by an audience and their mediated encounters with performers in the mass media, particularly on television and the internet. Viewers or listeners come to consider media personalities as friends despite having limited actual interactions with them.
I am putting that word in volume 2. I'm going to use it properly, and I'm going to credit you.
Thank you. I learned it today in a comment section of all places, and I think that's actually very kind of on the nose word for a lot of things. But you were talking about like pursuing woke stuff. So the last time you and I streamed together, Nerd, I had a fucking pounding migraine. Like I felt like my brain was coming out of my nose.
Yeah, I remember that actually.
So speaking about what I was trying to say on that stream about the show Euphoria, as you know, Zendaya is my boo thing, and she's in that show. She's the leading actress in it, and there's a lot of what could be considered woke in it, like her girlfriend's transgender and like a whole bunch of other shit going on. But I went in with an open mind and I watched it, and it's a really fucking good show. Even though all those things that would be considered woke, it doesn't. They don't focus on it. You know what I mean? It's not like part of the marketing.
Just because it exists in the show doesn't make it woke.
Exactly.
Yeah. I agree.
And I feel like if someone had told me like, oh, it's woke, this, that, and the other before I went and saw it, I would have had that mindset going in, and I would be like, yep, there. I see it. Now,
a lot of people do that with Spider-Man Homecoming because one, Mary Jane. Well, I feel like they didn't know that right off the bat. We didn't know it was Mary Jane right off the bat, but she's supposed to be white, redhead, and Flash Gordon is supposed Flash Thompson. He's not an Indian guy. He's not some short little Indian guy. He's supposed to be like, who was he?
Joe Manganiello.
That's right. The Joe Manganiello. That's right. I remember
fucking Mr. Deathstroke himself.
Dude, that's such a bummer that we didn't get him in. Dude, I want to see that. But like nobody had problems with that unless they were looking for it. It just really worked. I remember watching Spider-Man Homecoming, and thinking nothing of it until after, when people were complaining. It's like, you changed this character and you're so woke because of this, that. There was an Asian, there was an Indian. I was just like, you know what? I didn't even see that. And it didn't bother me. That probably that gave me like a good sense of who I am. Like if that bothered me, like, oh, you made Flash into an Indian dude, like I'm pissed. I would have been disappointed in myself, but it didn't bother me because they didn't make any statements beforehand. They didn't make it a huge deal in the movie. They just did it, like even if one of those kids was a transgender or they wanted to be called they, like it wouldn't have bothered me because they didn't make it into a big deal. So I get that when creatives and actors and actresses, whatever, come out and say like, I'm Elizabeth Banks and you're sexist for not liking this movie, I get that. but therefore you're going to go and see that movie with that mindset. Just like I went in with the mindset of Rise of Skywalker is going to suck because of the last movie that sucked, when really I should have went in there and just like, let's just go and enjoy the dang movie. Like I may have had different opinions on that, but I mean, not too many different opinions because that movie really does.
Yeah, that.
But the other one I was going to bring up, and Pete has watched this show. It's a show. It's literally just called Evil. It's on Netflix. I guess it's done by CBS. And I was like, oh, Mike Coulter's in it, the guy who plays Luke Cage. Michael Emerson is in it, the guy who played Ben on Lost. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll watch it. And first couple episodes, I'm like, man, this is really fucking good because it's about like demon possession, but it's a team of 3 people. Mike Coulter is a priest in training, so he's very religious. And then there's the woman whose name I don't remember. She's Dutch, so I probably couldn't pronounce it anyway. But she's like a psychologist, so they're very polar opposites, and they got their guy in the middle who's like kind of leaning on either side. And they investigate these demon possessions and shit like that. And I really like that whole dynamic and how they approached it. But then it's like around halfway through the season, they start like real, and I'm not talking like, oh, there's a lesbian. Oh no, I'm talking like really ham-fisted on the nose, like kind of woke stuff. Like at one point, a psychiatrist convinces his little patient to, and I'm quoting, join the incel army. And I was like,
Jesus.
oh, okay.
Yeah, dude.
He's
You
like,
can't
I'm
get
going
any
to go on 4chan and you can join the incel army. And he's like trying to get them to shoot up a place. And I was like, a lot of this is a little like, I don't mind that kind of stuff if it's subtle or if it's just kind of in the background. But when it's that on the nose, I was like, oh, wow. It kind of pulled me out of the show for a little bit. It's still of the first, there's only one season so far, but I like 80% of it. But there's like certain parts in it that are just like, bam, right in the face. Like, here you go. Here's a little bit of woke for you.
Or if you do it like The Boys season 2 did, they kind of did sprinkling all over the place of different perspectives and presented the material without beating you over the head with it. Like it was just a natural progression of characters, and so it wasn't woke, but there were some woke points in it.
Mm-hmm. That's woke things that happen in a show don't ruin the whole show, despite what some of these the dog whistlers or the would want to happen. Like for a lot of them, they'd see that incel army and the whole show's ruined. They're not going to watch another episode. And it's like, it's one episode. And it's, like you can tell the writing staff, because they use a lot of kind of like tech jargon, but all the characters are like in their 40s. So it's like written by someone who knows just enough tech jargon to kind of sound hip and cool. And so they talk about like deep fake in one episode, but they clearly don't know what deep fake is because they use it wrong. And what they mean to say is ADR, but they say the word deepfake. Yeah. So like, they know just enough to kind of sprinkle it in there. And it's again, like 80% of the season's great. There's just like these like little bits and bobs that kind of like push you out of the show for a little bit, and then you're back in.
So I love the points that are being brought up. And as far as dog whistling goes, yeah, you could actually definitely say it's on both sides. I'd have to absolutely agree with that. So there's different perspectives. There's different reasonings for the hyperbolic nature that sometimes comes out of certain creators when it comes to entertainments that may be perceived as having been infected with wokeness. One of them is YouTubers are here to make videos to catch views, to get views. So they're going to be hyperbolic at times. I even do it myself. I try not to be disingenuous in doing it, but yeah, I do get yelly and preachy sometimes, just to get to get some attention. That happens a lot, so that is valid. That kind of dog whistling, totally valid. Now, the other aspect of that is you have an industry, you have a journalistic community that for the last almost 10 years has been engaged in a coordinated effort to spin narratives against anyone who does not agree with their ideologies. This has reached for everywhere from the legacy media, mainstream media, access shills. You have people that sit at the table of, let's say, Disney, for instance, and beg for scraps by praising everything that they do. That will also co-sign to the narrative. You have creatives that have infected gaming, gaming, comics, television, and movies that all want to make money off this narrative. They want to do it. They don't care about the legacies of what they're creating or the lores of what they're doing. They want their short-term paychecks, and they want to preach about how wonderful and woke they are to the unwashed masses of the working class before their stuff eventually fails, which they almost always do, and they move on like locusts to infect another modern mythology. This has created a feeling within people, especially people who are maybe cross gamer, comic, sci-fi fan, fantasy fan, who have just been beaten over the head consistently for years with this stuff, with this narrative, that have become hypersensitive, hyper defensive to anything. Elizabeth Banks coming out and saying you're a misogynist if you don't like this automatically renders it. That is poison. That is toxic. I want nothing to do with that. Or as Ryan was saying earlier, makes you want to go hate watch it. And you go in there with a prejudiced perspective on it. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely true. I think that there have been some creative decisions. Well, you brought up Solo, for instance. I think that had there not been an expanded universe thrown away, had there not been anything else to look at in reference to who Han Solo was in his younger years, that movie is not a bad movie. Solo is not a bad movie. It's not a great movie. It's not a great Star Wars movie, in my opinion, but it's not a bad movie, and there's some really cool moments in it that I actually enjoy.
It's like a C+.
It was just kind of boring at times. It was boring, right? It just like the Lady Proxima didn't make sense. Like it's a vampire worm that lives in a glass house. I'm like,
but it's also suffering from people who have the Last Jedi. First off, you already had a backlash from the expanded universe being thrown out. So you already had the hardcore book readers, the ones that love this stuff, were all told go to hell by Brian Young. They were called militant fandoms, shitty and militant fandoms. These are people that put up billboards because they loved it. They love these lore so much, saying save the expanded universe. They lost the fight, just like the gamers lost the fight against the journos in Gamergate, just like a lot of the people in the comics industry were drummed out of the comics industry because they didn't have the right ideology and they were told to go somewhere else to their Nazi selves. So you had a lot of this energy going on within entertainments in various areas. It wasn't overall, it was just encapsulated in small groups all over the place, but a lot of people being hurt at the same time. Once you move into post The Last Jedi, that is in my opinion, The Last Jedi is a cinematic middle finger to the Star Wars fandom, and I think that open insult to the fans just kind of bridged all of these people together, and those that were upset with Star Trek Discovery, which is basically, in my opinion, a freaking televised middle finger to the Star Trek fandom. It was a complete misuse of a property that was meant to inspire hope, not cause division. And so you have these people that are upset because all of these different pockets of entertainments that have been filled up with these people who have this ideology that states to them that their feelings are correct and your facts don't matter. Our opinions matter and yours don't. And if you don't share our opinion, you are an istophobe. You are a horrible person. This cancel culture, this dog whistling, this every hashtag punch a Nazi, all of this stuff festering in our culture and our entertainments over the last 8 years. So now we've gotten to the point where there is absolutely, I have no doubt whatsoever, a segment of the fandoms that are just completely done with it at this point. If it has a hint of wokeness, if they even perceive a hint of wokeness, then they are going to dog whistle and they are going to point at it and say that's woke and I'm not going to have nothing to do with that. And they'll boycott it or go hate watch it or whatever it is. That absolutely happens right now, which is one of the reasons why I preach don't hate to hate. Because I don't want to become that. I don't want that to become a static environment. So good points brought up by both of you gentlemen, and I can't disagree.
Thank you, man. The thing to go back to Sal was talking about Evil. Now, I wasn't watching that show at first. My wife watched it and she was like, "Hey, check this out." She's like, there might, and she's the one that she never used the word woke before I started doing this. And she says, there might be some stuff and you don't like, it's kind of woke. And I'm like, all right, so whatever. I'm like, I'll give it a shot, So I'm watching it. And like you said, it's kind of subtle. Like Sal said, it's like 80% of the show is good. And they just throw, it's like a boxer with like a jab. It's like, it's just like bah, bah. Every now and then they just hit you with these little jabs of it. And then came the incel army thing, and that was like the fucking haymaker. It's like, wow, it's like, wait, whoa, what the hell is this? And I had a show like that I knew it had woke aspects, but I still enjoyed it. It was called Deputy with Steven Dorff, and it got canceled. There was a trans, I guess she was transgender, or gender confused, or gender fluid, was like the sheriff's like personal security detail and driver. I Beck Taylor Kloss. Now she's a female. You know, I don't even think she's actually gay. I think, I don't know. She's one of those younger actresses, so who knows? She's probably like pansexual or whatever. But I mean, like outside of the show, I mean, like she's a little hottie. You know, I mean, it was like she was good in the show though as the character. That was the thing. It's like, okay, it's this, whatever. I don't care. It's still
it's well written character.
It was, and that was the thing. Like
Cool.
people didn't like the show because it got like horrible reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and shit, even by the fans. I thought he was kind of an old school hard nosed cop, all right, who became sheriff because the sheriff died, and now it's the sheriff of like Los Angeles County, mind you. So he's like the sheriff of L.A.
Mhm.
But you know, he's married to a Mexican woman. They have, you know, a blended family, obviously, you know, because they have children. It had a diverse cast, and but he was like, he was old school, but he was open to, you know, he wasn't like a curmudgeon or, you know, whatever. Like he wasn't like an old racist that was like a redemption story for him. He was fairly progressive in his views. And because like the immigration issue came up, obviously it's Los Angeles, you know, and there was never a point in the show where I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore because it's woke. It was like, okay, it's still a cool show. You know what I mean? So the little things that were in there, I was able to just, because it was well written. That's why I was kind of pissed that it got canceled. And another one like that is Prodigal Son with Thomas Paine that played Jesus on The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
that show is hands down amazing, and I cannot wait for season 2.
it's a good one.
I was looking. There was little pieces in that, but it wasn't anything to where you're like, this is completely woke. It's like I watched Knives Out by Rian Johnson, and if Rian Johnson was in front of me, I'd probably stick this pen in his eye. But just for The Last Jedi,
Take that pen and stick it up his nose.
I have a letter opener here somewhere. But I liked Knives Out. I really did.
That's what I've heard. People like it.
I did that for Is It Woke? And I was like, it's not. It was
That's
good.
the thing. Like he's an okay director because he did Looper. He did a couple episodes of Breaking Bad. He just wasn't good for Star Wars.
Yep. He directed the bottle episodes of Breaking Bad, I believe it was, right? Like the fly episode where he's just chasing the fly around his meth lab.
So he's rumored, but he's said to have done the best and the worst Breaking Bad episodes ever, and I actually enjoyed both of them. But I feel like nobody is talking about his greatest masterpiece, which is Brick. That movie is so freaking good.
I've never seen it.
Is amazing. It's so awesome. You got to see that one.
My sister watched it and said it wasn't bad. She said it was pretty good.
So it's just like
I might be overhyping it, but like that movie blew me out of the water because of just how unique it is, and like that's what I want, and that's why I feel like he's great. No, he's not woke, and I feel like that's the label that dog whistling can do. Once you're woke, you're never going back. But Rian Johnson is not like that at all. None of his work is like that. That could possibly only been a Kathleen Kennedy thing, and he was pandering towards that. You know, like I feel like Stephen, as you had mentioned, is just the industry in itself and what they're willing to kind of pander into, but that also means the people who want to get ahead as well have to kiss the ring. You know, they have to do X, Y, and Z to do that. I don't think Hollywood is woke. I think Hollywood is creating a woke culture, and I feel like at this point in time, if dog whistling is in everything, and if everything is woke, then, you know, like your title had says,
if everything is woke, nothing is woke.
Nothing is woke, right? I feel like that's just what progression is. Like that's what it's going to be. Like, who would have ever thought that we would have a transgender character in a popular culture TV show? You know, like I've never seen that show. I haven't seen that yet, and yet I wouldn't be surprised to see it in a new popular show. You know, like it's just back like freaking early 2000s that would have never happened.
It's funny you bring that up because it's a movie. I feel like it's a little known movie, but I feel like more people know it than I think, if that makes any kind of sense. is Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything.
I think Julie Newmar.
Which is about two transvestites, which one of them is Wesley Snipes.
John
And when the movie was made,
crazy.
yeah, he was so worried about like people thinking he wasn't a tough guy when that movie came out that he only did action movies after that to try and make up for it. And now you look at when that was made to where we are now, like that's what you're saying is progression.
That was like mid-90s.
Change over time.
There was a group of dudes from my neighborhood that went there dressed in drag. They were like, let's do it. They weren't gay. They were just like, screw it. We're going to go see Tu Wong Fu. And I'm talking like 17, 18-year-olds. They went in drag in the mid-90s.
And it's a great fucking movie.
Yeah,
it is. It's
Patrick Swayze,
yeah.
Wesley Snipes, and John, I can never say his last name,
Like
John
Leguizamo.
Leguizamo. And they're all transvestites, and it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, look, you're gonna like what you're gonna like. Like let in one way, yes, let the art speak for itself. I believe the art should speak for itself. I was watching American Gods, and I was really enjoying it until I saw fucking Jin, big ass Jin with a mythical sticking his mythical man meat inside a gay guy with his big ass mystical sand blasted setting with pyramids, and his eyes are glowing, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't. I've never been able to return to watching.
Okay, time out though. Time out. Have you ever read the book?
Dude, I don't want to touch anything American Gods.
No, I know.
I am done.
I've heard the book's really fucking good.
The book is considered to be a classic, a masterpiece. I personally did not like it whatsoever, but people need to understand that that is not woke. The whole reason why he put that scene in there in the book and in the TV show is because the guy who ends up having like homosexual sex with
dude, he was arching his back. All right, his boner was flagging like a flagpole in the sky. Look, I don't care if it's woke or not. That's gay. That is a gay on a level of mythical gayness. That's cool for if you like mythical gayness. Anybody, I don't care. Do your thing, boo. But look, that's too gay for me. I'm checking out.
That's the quote
Steven
of the night.
out.
Mythical gayness.
Mythical gayness.
Hashtag that shit.
Get it trending by the end of the night.
I'm not hating on it, but that's just not for me.
You got to do this.
No, I agree. It is not for me either. I almost wanted to stop the book because the book is like super graphic.
I bet the scene was graphic, man.
Yeah.
It was a mythical.
That surprises me that it's that graphic. But like the whole point, and what I'm trying to get at, I'm not trying to focus on this scene, but the scene is a very good way to actually talk about what I'm trying to get at, and that is that how far is progression supposed to be taken until it's actually accepted? Because my wife and I walked out of Captain Marvel and she said, that is really cool for me as a woman to see a superhero movie starring a woman. She didn't like Brie Larson. She wasn't a fan of it. She wasn't like the craziest big fan of the movie, but she did walk out of there saying, you know what? That's actually really cool. Me being as a woman to see another woman up there being a superhero because we haven't seen it other than Wonder Woman. And then she really, really liked that. But she walked out of there saying it's cool to see that in the MCU, which was the whole point of that movie. And I feel like they nailed it. And a lot of people had a problem with that because of the things that Brie Larson said. But if you take those things away, it would have been just as like the goal would have been met. Like the MCU has a strong leading female woman as a superhero. It wasn't as good as Wonder Woman, but it still has that. And it didn't beat us over the head with it other than the things that Brie Larson said. And I feel like, where do we draw the line? And I think that is shoving it down our throats. Like Brie Larson had said, like Elizabeth Banks, I think is the best example.
Oh yeah.
Saying that if you don't like this, you're sexist, like that should never be the case. But like, where do we, because I feel like a lot of people have a problem with the Eternals, and Don, you had mentioned this earlier that I wanted to hit on, is that changing all of their races, changing all of their possibly genders, making it like diverse on purpose, like they're doing it blatantly. I don't have a problem with that because it's Eternals. They're supposed to be representing everything. What's the problem with that? And yet everybody's dog whistling saying this is going to be the wokest thing ever. And we even did it a little bit in here. I did it when I heard Angelina Jolie. I'm like, I know what I expect with this. But what's so bad with that? When am I going to accept the fact that we're progressing in all of this rather than just continue to dog whistle. Because if we continue to dog whistle, then we're not going to progress, and we're always going to have that view that Hollywood is woke, but when really somebody's going to be left behind.
I dig it. You're hitting on a point that I actually would like to make. That's a good point. One of the problems of using different groups, different marginalized communities as shields or as cudgels to attack others who don't believe in the same kind of ideology is that you devalue the struggle of those minorities or those underrepresented groups. I have no problem whatsoever with the trans community or any other community. And I have no problem with them being a part of society because we're all a part of society. Regardless of my personal views on any of them, I do believe liberty for all. That is first and foremost, liberty for all. When you take these groups, when you take a group, let's just use the transgender community as example, less than 1% of the world population, and you prop them up and put them on a pedestal and shove them in everyone's face, and you say, like this, accept this, or you're a bigot, then you really turn people off. You put them on a defensive stance to what the message is trying to be said, to the struggles, trials, or tribulations of someone going through gender dysphoria, which sounds like a horrible thing, and I wouldn't want to go to. And I feel bad for people that naturally have to go through that condition. And I wish them luck. I don't hate those people. God, they're going through enough. Why am I going to hate those people? What I am against is not that segment of the population. That is not it. What I am fighting against is people who use that segment of the population as a shield to defend their radical ideas. That is the problem that I have with it. And because it's wrapped up in politics and social issues, you've got a lot of different people that have different feelings on it. And at the end of the day, I truly believe that this is just another distraction to the public. I believe, in my opinion, after 9/11, that this country was really starting to come together. I helped vote Barack Obama in because I wanted to see that. I wanted to see that healing of that racial division in the country, because we're all equal. Liberty for all. Let's move toward that Gene Roddenberry future. And I feel that as people were coming together more, that the real troublemakers, the wealthy elite, the people at the top, the ones that make that basically fund campaigns to get politicians into their positions so that they can pass laws to give them tax breaks and so forth and so on. I think they're the problem. They're the ones that are funding a lot of the division. They're the ones that are giving it the okay, that are saying, hey, maybe you should act like this, and trying to divide we, the working class. I think that's the end game of it. And the unfortunate victims of this, besides just basically everybody for being used as puppets and being whipped up into a frenzy, are these marginalized communities that are being used as cudgels to beat everyone else because it's disingenuous. Let natural interaction happen. Let us come together naturally as people. Look, one part of the population just isn't going to accept transgenders. It's not in their belief system. It's not what their God says is right, or it's not what their culture says is correct. But why don't you just, instead of dog whistling these people, using them as a weapon, why don't you let everyone naturally integrate through society? And that is how people get to know one another. You're never going to please anybody. There's always going to be one idiot in every tribe. There's always going to be a racist. There's always going to be a sexist. It's human nature. There's always going to be one idiot who just wants to hate for the sake of hating, or thinks of something as trivial as the skin pigmentation makes a huge difference between human to human. You're always going to have that. It's up to the rest of us to wrestle control. I like what Ryan's saying, brother. Keep preaching. I'm glad you got a channel.
Thanks. I don't really preach that there, but
one of my words.
I'm just trying to do what I can with what I've got. That's it. That's all I try to do on my channel.
Yeah, man.
You guys like my opinions there. You guys can go there. We talk about weird stuff, so whatever. But I actually really freaking dig this. Like, I can't tell you how many Twitter debates I've been in to where it's just like, you should accept this. Because for the longest time, I had a really big problem with what you were just saying. To just put them in there to check a box, right? But I have recently had a really good conversation with a fellow creator on YouTube, talking about why representation is really, really important to them as a black man. And I never saw it from the perspective of what he said. It gives me hope for me wanting to be in that industry, it gives me hope to see that somebody like me can get that job. Now, I do understand that what you're saying is that they're only getting this job because they're checking a box, but that is neither here nor there for the progression for fellow Black individuals to feel as if they can get that job. And I feel like if that's what their drive is, great, that's fine. Like, let's not gender swap or race swap somebody or gender swap somebody just to make that point come home. But what I'm trying to get at is, where do we start progressing that? Like, and I like what you said. I'm not trying to get back into this because I actually agree with everything that you said. And I understand that we do need to wrap this up and everything. I could go on for a while, but for
it's a great conversation.
No, it is. For me, I'm learning a lot from both sides because of YouTube, but like, I still stand by the fact of what you say. People should be able to earn that naturally. But what I'm trying to say is that I don't think we're in a position in the industry to make it happen naturally, whether that's because it's imploding in on itself or because it really is that difficult. I wouldn't know because I'm not in that industry. So like, for right now, if it's instilling the confidence to these women, my wife being one of them, walking out of Captain Marvel, really admiring that fact, or my buddy who's a Black man who creates videos and all of that, seeing other Black men in these roles, giving him that confidence, then I think that we're taking a step. Whether it's a step that we want or not, it is a step. And I think it's great. And I agree with you. It should happen naturally. I just don't know if it can right now. It has.
Right. Well, I don't believe so much. Quick, I'm sorry. I don't believe so much in equity as I believe in equality. Equity is giving people unfair advantages or devaluing a segment of the population in order to elevate another. But in as far as the inspiration that someone from an underrepresented group or a minority group gets when they see someone who looks like them through talent, through will, through through perseverance, get into a position like that, and I'm glad that gives them confidence. My only concern is that people be hired due to qualifications and talent, and if that falls under someone who is transgender or Black or Chinese or whatever, then good, give them that position and let's see what they can do.
Agreed.
This was an excellent. This is probably one of the best episodes we've done in a long time here.
I agree. I've been on several.
Sal's been around here for pretty much since the beginning.
He's an OG.
And, this is one of the best episodes we've done in a long time. We could probably go for another 3 hours on this alone. But it's 11:48 Eastern, and I know Blurb's got some issues. He's got it at 10 too, and I got to get up. I'll be up at 5, and because I got my 5-year-old who likes to get up at 5 in the morning for school. So I'd like to thank everybody. Let me go, Steven. I'm gonna pull your Indiegogo back up real quick here, and you go ahead and tell the people where they can find you, what you got going on. And plug the projects, and we'll go around and do that, and then we'll take her home.
All right, cool. Thank you guys for being here very much. I enjoy people with differing opinions. This whole panel, this whole conversation has been wonderful. It has given me enlightenment. It's given me different perspective, and I value that. And I thank everybody on this panel and in the chat for being here and being a part of that. I am author Stephen Walton. You can find me on my channel, author Stephen Walton, or at Twitter at Lodonis, Lodonis. I do two main shows. One is TR4. That's on Tuesdays at 6:30. The beginning of your Fandom Menace Tuesday nights, right before the Dark Council, and then the High Council on World Class Bullshitters. And I also do a show on Saturday, 7:00 p.m. Rogue Entertainment. Usually have a great cast of people. Everybody kind of comes in and takes turns from the fourth wave. After that is Sporky News Podcast on his channel, and then Bear Nerd Fun has his late edition after that. I usually try and hit all three, but can't be everybody at once. I am the author of the Fandom Menace Volumes, which is about a consumer movement, a pushback against toxicity in the entertainments, who's using our modern mythologies as a platform to cause division, segregation, hatred, and these fans have had enough, and they spoke out. The Fandom Menace Volume 1 is already out. The audiobook is available on Audible. It was narrated by Robot Shlomo of Midnight's Edge. Volume 2 is now available on Indiegogo, and this covers the year of 2018. Have a lot of great contributors. contributors involved in this project: Jesse Milestone, Stephanie Janisic, Itchy Baka, and Lord Doomcock himself. Please check that out. I appreciate everybody that's been able to support, and even if you can't, I mean, we're going through tough times right now. Let's face it, we're all going through tough times right now. So even if you can't support it out, appreciate you sharing out the link. We don't have an industry to support us, and as a matter of fact, the industry fights us constantly with false narratives. We have each other, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I am author Stephen Walton, the Fandom Menace historian, your historian, born in the chats of the High Council with my brothers and sisters fighting for our modern mythologies. Wash your hands, wash your ass. Please just wash your ass once in a while. Don't be one of them 3-day-old nasty bastards. Be good to each other. Peace.
Thank you, sir. Salvador, that's a tough act to follow, but follow it you must, sir.
All right. Well, Stephen, like a roaring lion, I shall be a whimpering field mouse. So I run the channel 2 Cents Toys, which is not Fandom Menace affiliated, though I am. I just review modern toys, give you my 2 cents on them, hence the name. And I do customizations, do walkthroughs on how to customize figures to look how I made them look. Recently did the Heroes of Endor set, which is a Hasbro PulseCon exclusive to include Luke, Han, Leia, Pablo, and a speeder bike. Tomorrow I have a Darth Vader video coming out, and I've got recently returned from a vacation of sorts, and I have like 44 more action figures I have to review, so I could give you that list, but we'd be here for another hour. And yeah, that's all. You can find me over at 2 Cents Toys. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, though I don't really use any of those platforms, so just follow the YouTube channel. Recently crossed 1,100 subscribers yesterday.
Nice,
so,
congrats.
Thank you. It was I've made a firm $8 on YouTube in about 5 months, so making waves, and that's all I really got. Thanks everyone for coming on, and this was probably, if not the best, definitely in the top 3 best episodes that we've done.
Absolutely. And thank you, man, and congrats on hitting that 1,100 subscriber mark, brother. You deserve it, man.
Thank you.
You work hard. I know. I've been there listening to you all day when you're talking about. Yeah, I recorded 20 videos. It was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I did 7 in one day and thought I was gonna die.
I owe a lot of it to Nerdy Blurb for prettying up my channel.
I was gonna say you were at like 1,000 when we were working together. So like,
oh, not even. I had barely crossed 100 when I asked you to do my channel thing.
Really?
For me. Yeah, I had.
Yeah.
I've gained 1,000 subscribers. Like I think a year ago, I was only at 60.
Yep.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
dang, dude, nice job. Nice
Yeah, dude.
way to grind. Nice way to grind.
thank you, sir.
And last but certainly not least, my man Nerdy Blurb. Hey, talk about Nostalgia Wars, man. We didn't get to bring that up. No?
No, I'm kidding, dude.
What are you doing, dude?
I'm so pumped on Nostalgia Wars, bro. That is a project that we've been working on for a year now, mainly because I've been doing graphics and all that and everything. But the cool thing is that we are taking competitive nerd trivia to the next level. We're making an app where you can actually, as a viewer, answer along in real time with the competitors who are on the show, not to mention fill out a fantasy bracket and predict aspects of the show for you to actually win points on the show. You can be on our leaderboard as a viewer, so it's almost as if you are a competitor within the show itself. So that has been crazy. We're going to be launching, actually, and I hate this because I'm not a guy who likes asking for money, but we're going to be launching a Patreon so that we can actually develop the app in full, because we have some developers who are on hold, and we're just trying to take YouTube as a whole and make it a lot more interactive.
Nice.
The whole point of Nostalgia Wars is to get fellow creators like yourself, Place to Be, ETEP, to be promoted by being a competitor. We have people who submit questions, recording themselves, talking about where they can find them. It's all about community, and
Love it.
Nostalgia Wars is the place to be. So, yes, we are Nerdy Blurb TV, where we talk about nerd stuff, movies, comics, television, all of that. But for the last year, we have been pretty silent because we've been making this, and it drops November 6th, and it's emotional because it's been a long road. I'm excited for it, and yeah, let's make some waves.
Beautiful, dude. Congrats.
That's amazing. I watched the video you put up on it, and I was like, this is great. Like this is amazing. I would love to be involved in that. Oh yeah, but that is one of the coolest concepts that I've seen on YouTube as far as like a game show type. And this is it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. I can't do the impression that well, but no, man, I'm hyped for you. Congratulations on that. That is going to be huge for you guys. It is. That's freaking awesome. Thank you to everybody in the chat, man. And thank you to my panel. It's almost 3.5 hours show tonight, which is an hour longer than we normally go, or actually an hour and a half longer. Hour and a half longer.
Yeah.
We try to keep between 90 minutes and 2 hours, and here we are at almost the 3.5 hour mark. This is the longest live stream I've done since I think the maybe 12th or 13th episode of my Anchor show in like March of 2019. So yeah, this has been a marathon, and it's been well worth it, and the time flew by tonight. This is having Steven and Blurb on with this conversation. It's really just let me be the host, and I mean I just get to sit back and listen to you guys, which is fine with me because nobody wants to hear me talk anyway.
Come on,
that's fine. I don't mind. It like I said, this has been a great episode. I appreciate everything that you guys are doing for YouTube, doing for the communities that we're involved in, and all your channels are linked in the description. Let's see, what do I got this week? Oh yeah, Friday the 13th part 4. I'll be reviewing another. You'll get another Friday the 13th video out of me as I've been cranking those out. And the part 3 review dropped today. I didn't want to drop 2 videos today, but I threw the Walking Dead one out because it's not going to be relevant after today. I'm gonna keep reviewing Fear the Walking Dead because the first episode was great. I am probably done with Walking Dead: The World Beyond. I cannot stomach that show. It's not watchable to me. I mean, I probably will because of the connectivity to the main storyline, but I'm not going to spend time reviewing it. You're going to get Friday the 13th part 4 Wednesday. Also, you can check me out over at we're releasing either Wednesday or Thursday on either the Fandom Collective channel or the Flipped Out. I think that we're going to do it on Flipped Out's channel. We have a skit video that we did. My comrade, my Russian comrade, Yuri Grabovich, he is a host of Soviet news show. We want you to check out. We report what they tell us we can report, and what we can't report, we get shot out back or go to gulag if we do, my friend. So I'll be sharing that on Twitter. I hope you enjoy that. That's a very far departure from the norm of what I usually do as a creator. And if you guys like it, you'll see a lot more of it. And the rest of the week, Wednesday night, we have Wednesday Raw Wednesday here. Rookie Critic will be joining me, and whoever else wants to pop in, I'll throw some invites out for Wednesday. And as far as regular pop culture videos go the rest of the week, I don't know, guys. I'm trying not to follow the news cycle and just review stuff that I don't have to complain about and stuff that I enjoy now, which is why I'm doing the Friday the 13th videos. I love that series. My favorite horror series is Friday the 13th. So I'm doing parts 1 through 8. Then you're going to get Jason X, Jason Goes to Hell, Freddy vs. Jason, and the reboot all in one video. So I have a Lost video I'm working on too. That's kind of got put on the back burner, and a couple other small, like 5-minute Star Wars videos. So I'm done ranting. Thank you, everybody. Thanks the chat. Keely Chow, Manliness and Motivation, Leo Red, Rookie Critic.
Hail the Rookie Critic.
Hail Rookie Critic, man. Yeah, he's got Tomato Wars is coming out. He dropped a teaser on Twitter for that, and you can also catch my vocal stylings in that as I have a couple roles in there. So, guys, I'm Itepo Kuina, the place to be reviews. I have been here with all of yous, and remember, if I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow. I will catch you on the flip side.
Wash your ass.